Eddie is on. Eddie, how you doing?
Hey, gang. Sorry I'm a little tardy.
Oh, no worries. We're just hanging out here on the tailgate. Doing the normal, telling a couple long ones, but keeping a little bit of truth in there.
Please, just a little truth. We can't go heavy on that truth.
Oh no, we don't want it a
Not
full
like
on fabrication.
no, and it's not like that safety thing. We can't get enough of the safety thing. I like Kent saying he appreciate what Sue does. I appreciate what Sue does. I appreciate what you do. Band-Aid Brenda's there. I mean, we have got Gary in Oklahoma's with us. I mean, all these people are. It's what I like about what we do, and we do it each week. We sit on a tailgate just like we're at a club meeting, because we are at a club meeting, and we tell stories and we share ideas, and the stories might be horror stories, but they're still stories. And a couple of weeks ago, um, Tim Hatch said I did this thing to this piece and I rescued it. So now we have a rescue room. And somebody, an old club member of mine from 25 years ago or so, uh, talked to me the other day at length, and he said, "Why do y'all bother? COVID's over." I don't think this had any damn thing to do with COVID. It really didn't. I sat at SWAT and talked to Turnus for 4 days and decided, we have to have an open forum. And we have such an open forum that every single person in the world can be part of it. And just like we call Safety Sue and Band-Aid Brenda and all those folks, that's not hierarchy. Those are folks who came in 3 or 4 years ago and became part of what we do. And I'm encouraging every single member. Kent, you're invited. Everybody's invited. Throw a nickel on the table. That's all it takes. Throw it on the table. If you see us do something that's brain dead stupid, ask about it, because it might just be brain dead stupid. We do have that no but guarantee. We're not supposed to interrupt a demonstrator to give our own opinion about how they're doing things and all, because the demonstrators got the thing. Same thing with the gallery. Um, I love seeing what we turn. I mean, some of the most beautiful work I've seen ever has been right here in this meeting situation. We've had professional turners from all across the world, pardon me, give us demonstrations. It shows how to do things. People that charge for IRDs, they line up to be with us each week to share ideas. I'm looking for more of that. I really am. We're coming up on 4 years. Man, it's time to start making some hay. Um, and it's what I like doing. The guy the other day said, "Y'all doing it for the bucks?" I love it.
Right.
He's with the gang that I suggested they put their club meetings, because they do them on video or whatever, put them on the internet. And the guy said, "Well, if you don't pay for it, you ain't seeing it." That was one of the coarsest things I'd ever heard. If you don't pay for it, you can't see it. What is this? Popular theater on Willow Street? And we got to go pay a quarter to see a matinee? No, this is sharing. I mean,
That's the best thing about this place, Eddie, is it's made me rich.
yeah, well, I look at it.
Demos, I'm rich now.
we've had one major expense in this club, and it went a little sideways, but we're working back from it. That's when we bought. The club purchased those stickers, worldwide wood turners, and we were giving the members $5 for a package of 10, and the mailing was all taken care of. We sent them over international and everything, and I just sent a big bundle of them to AAW to be given away. In fact, one of our team members, Doug Miller, just signed on. He went to AAW. He had a handful to give away. And when we make it to SWAT later on this summer, that same thing will happen all over again. In fact, that's what we're trying to connive. Get this, because we don't have any horsepower to do this. We're trying to connive a couple of our demonstrators that's part of our club into holding little mini meetings at their demonstrations. You got me. I mean, but look, I'm talking Scott Hampton and Joaquin, Vinson, So yeah, we can get any, yeah, yeah, we get, those two guys, it's a done deal. Why? Because we're all getting together. Billy Burt last week said his best weekend of the year is when he goes to SWAT in August. It's the hottest weekend of the year, Billy, but it is a good one. But like they say in Waco, it's a dry heat.
Yeah.
107 is not a dry heat. But we get a lot of feedback, and I really, yeah. And we get a lot of input back from our members. I talked to a guy a little while ago that wondered what I was doing. Something blipped on my screen. What was that?
That was Scott.
Who? That was Scott?
Yeah.
Scott Hampton.
Hey, I'm used to the
Hi,
heat.
Scott.
I'm
Okay.
used. Hey, Eddie, I put you a message in the chat. I watched your peppermill video that you made 10 years ago, and so far 15,000 people have watched it.
Wow. Yeah.
Isn't that great?
I brought it down. There was no specialized equipment in there, was there?
No, you just straight on. The only thing that was kind of specialized is when you welded the Forstner bit to a longer bar.
Yeah, because I couldn't find a longer Forstner bit.
Yeah.
And why do I miss my welder someday? So you sit and say, you know what? If I still had my welder, I'd go back and I'd still be out building goofy crap that people would, When I got sick the first time 9 years ago, the family helped out because they didn't think I'd ever be able to walk or anything, and they cleaned up out back of the shop. I had 5-gallon buckets full of framed out pieces for new tools and stuff, and it all looked like scrap iron. And today, if it was all sitting there, I probably couldn't put it together, but I had a little fun just clicking through it. And that's what I hope we do in the evenings here, folks. We click through it, and see what comes up. Because I know you got, it's sort of like the Jim Duxbury of Worldwide Woodturners. You got something in your pocket I want to see. That's the deal. You got something. Jim Duxbury's got something in his shop I want to see, because he's just like Scott. Scott's created little gizmos and gizzards and gadgets and all. Mark Soleil. Last week we watched Paul Hannaby from the United Kingdom. Now it was 2:30 in the morning when he finished over there with his demo, and he still works, and he's got like a daytime job, but he stayed with us and did a demo for us last week. If you haven't seen that, you need to go to our website and watch that demo. You really need to. Doesn't matter what he turned. Watch what Paul taught you while he was turning. Let's forget anything at all about what came off the lathe. Don't worry about anything at all about what you're turning, what you're doing, what kit you bought, who you're going to make happy, or anything else. Think about what you do on the lathe and take the tips and hints you see from these people that are doing this, and you make that cut and say, wait, I don't make that cut like that. What does it mean he's holding this and holding that? We all have technique, and that's what we share. I love it. Last week I saw Paul made 2 cuts with a small gouge that I had to step back and say, wait, I do that cut, but I never taught that cut, because there was a lot of naysayers that would tell me, you can't show that because it's just not, not unacceptable, not fair, and all that. There is no fair. And I enjoyed it. I really did. That was a great demonstration last week. We had, a couple of weeks ago, we had Doug Rowe. Doug's on vacation this week. He might not be with us. He took his wife to the mountains. I don't know if that's a want. But he's escaped. What we might see Doug. Doug is one of the founders. When this thing all cranked up, I called 10 friends and said, "What do you think?" Doug was one of the 10 friends. Ron Radliff's one of the 10 friends. They called back and said, "Hey, will you do it?" "Yeah, we'll be there." And what is it, 193 and 194 meetings ago, and we're still doing something. But I digress a little bit. I was talking about the things I see. You do know we collect photographs for our website, which we have the world's greatest website master and ever was. And he puts those photographs on the website. Now, if you post those photographs to our Facebook page, I can capture those photographs and put them in what we mail out monthly as being a newsletter. Right, a little news here, a little news there, a little stuff there, but mostly it's a gallery, so you can print it out and say, "Hey Bob, look, I made the newsletter this month." Y'all know you do that. Hey, really? I mean, every one of you know you do that. In fact, you call me and ask me how I can get moved up on the pages. But sometimes we like a little admiration, especially if we put our heart and soul in it. And if we all think about it, we don't have any instruction books for this. It's all got to come out of here. It all does. And if this is damaged, it's all connected. And what do you do? But I'm having a good time with this, and just because it'll come up, I'm doing okay. I've got PTSD. It's well, we see in teams, because it's got me in the valley some days, but then other days, like right now, and Dan and I talked about this last night. Right now, you bring the life back into me. You do. You bring the life back into everybody. I mean, I'm looking at people on the screen here, and these are old friends. I'd be here all night long saying, "Hi, Brenda, how you doing? How you doing?" And all this, because these are all our friends, our pals, our buddies, and they're all sitting around waiting on the tailgate. And if they got something to show for gallery, they're going to tell us in a minute. And Dane, who just happened into this slot somehow,
Opened his mouth, didn't he?
yay, sure
Imagine
did.
that.
Yeah, and anything at all can happen when that happens. He handles organizing our demonstrators, which are all volunteer members, never to be paid, never to be reimbursed, never sponsored. We're very tight about that. We've disconnected with a couple of demonstrators because of that. You go commercial on us, we don't need you. We want you to go wood turning on us. But Dane handles that. He also introduces the gallery. We got Brenda watching his back pocket in case he gets sneaky. And, we got a couple other folks who, that record this to help out the webmaster. And if you hadn't taken a hard look at that website, who's just now asked, all these other clubs members have members in it? Probably so. We have a list of members of clubs on our website page that shows the clubs that have owned up to being affiliated with us. The affiliation's simple. You're a member of that club, you're a member of our club. Boom, there's no strings, no draws, no attaches, nothing like that. It's just that, we're a bunch of friends sitting on a tailgate. And we came up with that a bunch of years ago because that was the best time I had at club meetings, when we would just sit around, get away from the formal, don't worry about insurance and sales and all that other garbage, and just talk. And that's what we want you to do. Just talk. Just let us know what's up. The west coast of Arizona. That's Ward. There's no other coast of Arizona. And we've got a lot of other great turners in with us tonight. So if you got a gallery, you got a question, you got a demonstration, you got a tip, a hint, a lie, you're on a tailgate. Just and you have to say what? Just boom, right now, you're open. Who's that? You open? We're getting a good crowd. Oh, I think we're going to go to Texas tonight to Bob Grinstead, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Bob Grinstead. You're going to like this. You're going to like this. When we talk to Bob, look at the art, the gallery that Bob's got on the wall behind him as he speaks with us. Now, it's always changing because, wood turners, we run out of flat room in our house to put things all the time. So we move it around, or you sell it off or whatever. Watch Bob's stuff. Bob does this, pre-records it, edits it because of technical difficulties. Yeah, he's just like the rest of us. A lot of us living and dying on our cell phones. So if you want to do a demo, you can record it. And you can do that using Zoom. Yeah, get this. The technical part, it's easy. You can use iMovie. I have 5 or 6 of those plans on here. I have iMovie, Final Cut, Zoom, and a few others. All of those will let you record and edit input from cell phones and videos and stuff. Be careful about videos. If you bring in somebody else's video, I've been there one time. Don't do that. But if you want to edit a video, put one together. Yeah, we spoke last week about one of the most overlooked items that you work with every single day in your shop is the tailstock of your lathe. Think about how critical that piece of equipment is and all the accessories and gadgets that you can make in your own shop for the tailstock to help you bring something back on center, hold something in center. I saw Roper turning something the other day. I like him. He's a character. But I saw him turning something the other day and it blew up. Boom. His tailstock was about a 1/4 inch away. Now, that was an old video, but I was thinking, Roper, one little crank would have saved that piece of wood, And yeah, but I don't want to hit my tailstock. And there are ways around that. Centering jigs and cones and cup holders and ball holders and a vase inserts. Suppose you hollow the vase first and then shape the outside. Talk about back into it, won't you? But it can all be done. It can all be done. But I am still searching for somebody to do a full length series of demos that maybe 10 minutes at a time to explain how good that piece of equipment is and what you can do with it. I mean, sharpening is like elbows. Everybody's got two and they're different. It's the tailstock is there. And if you think you have to go buy a $150 part to do this or $200 nodget to do that or whatever, you don't. I mean, before threading jigs were out there, I had one. The lady that got really, really good at threading. Can't think of her name.
Bonnie Klein.
Bonnie Klein. See the Bonnie Klein threader? I saw that at a demo in maybe Louisville, Kentucky, almost 20 years ago. I took 6 photographs of it with the little camera, tick, 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 tick. And the guy I was with said, "Why are you bothering?" I said, "Bother nothing. I'm building that tomorrow. As soon as we get home, I'm going to build one." But yeah, but you got to, I said, "Nope, no, you don't. That's hardware store right there." Same thing with a ball cutting jig. That's hardware store. Hardware store and quality plywood. So the eccentric, concentric Duxbury jig. Is that what we call it? The Duxbury jig?
Dutch chuck.
Duck's Chuck. That's it. I knew it had a proper name. The Duck's Chuck. You members that have been here for a while, you saw that come right here, and then you saw it change, and then you saw it change, and then you saw it change, and just last week you saw it change again because you're tickling Jim Duxbury, and he's having a ball at it. And oh yeah, I'm just reading an article he did for Wood Turning. This is the British publication, Wood Turning. It's available through Amazon, and you get a monthly subscription. I pay $327 a month for mine, and it's here. Here's my subscription, right on my iPad. I carry it with me. I don't need it. It's downloaded. Once it's in there, it's in there. And a whole bunch of stuff. But Jim's got a great article in it. Almost every month, Jim's got a piece in there. They like him because he brings it down to dirt, down to earth. Shows you what it is, how you can get there, and how you can create it. And it's all simple. And there's none of this art stuff. Don't be offended. There's a lot of art out there, all right? Guys think, well, I don't do that because it's not artistic. If you turn it and you make it, it comes from you, it's artistic. There's no statute. I mean, there's no, you got to be up to here to be called good or down there to be called bad. And what's it matter what they call you anyway? I mean, I like to see the interesting things, the really interesting stuff that pops up. And it all lets us know that, who thought of that?
You mean you mean the pieces that we can see ducks in and birds in and butterflies and turtles?
dinosaurs, all that stuff.
No. We're still worried about you people. We're still worried about y'all. Really. I mean, when you get somebody like Wakeene Vinson bring something up and says, "Look, Brenda, do you see the snake and the alligator in here?" Yeah.
It's
Different way to look at
infectious.
it.
It's infectious.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, and so many people show the top of the bowl and reluctant to show the bottom of the bowl. Why? I'm not good at bottoms. Get better. It's all one piece, and who's going to get? What are they going to do? You're not going to get the gold star. Yeah. What I really, really like, are recovered pieces or rescue pieces from rescue shops. Oh yeah, rework projects. Because if you blow it up, Matt Harbor's the first one to tell anybody, I got a lot of wood. If I blow it up once, maybe, but you're not going to get two out of me. I'm going to do something else. But then we have guys that it's a challenge. To me, it's a challenge. I could never stand the burn pile. Really couldn't.
I like about 2 weeks ago, I blew up 4 of them on the lathe in quick succession. So, yeah, gotta ride that horse. Stuff grows on trees, I hear.
Yeah, and you come up, and guess what? When you saved it, you learned how to do something you may have not known how to do before, or you invented something that's new in here that the rest of us would need to know. We watched somebody really good do a demo a couple of weeks ago, and a piece got out of whack, and just moved a little bit. The chuck wasn't tight enough, and they eyed it back up, and that's got the thing with the tailstock going for me. They want to eye it back up and trying to get it this and this, and I'm thinking, I got a half a dozen wooden plugs to fit on my 3/4 10 revolving center that would bring that back to center. That's made of wood, where I can cut right on them or to them to clean up and line this up, to bring up a steady to do such and such. That's all that garbage that piles up in the front of the lathe right there. That's not, remember, it's not scrap wood. It's just unused turning projects. But I'll see that and say, wow, wish he had such and such type of cup or such and such type of cone. And if you're a wooden ball turner, you know what that's all about. Because if you turn wooden balls, the major thing is to hold that thing absolutely true so you can fine tune it. And the first ball cutter I saw was the guy that made the elbow tool, the original gentleman that made the elbow tool. That is a howling rig. He was a great shop craftsman, and he had all kinds of nifty gizmos and gadgets. And I ran across him at some Symposium someplace, and he had a ball cutter they made out of 3/4 inch cabinet grade plywood. And I'm looking, I said, that can't be stable enough. And he said, okay. And it was painted. And he said, but if you scrape the paint off, you'll see a piece of 1/8 inch steel running right through the middle of it. What? he concealed that 1/4 inch, that piece of 1/8 inch tool steel between those sheets with epoxy, and then bound the whole thing up using sex screws, so it was a solid mass that had no water, no flabble, and that was just his playing piece. He didn't make those to sell them. That was a playing piece. But then, I took 6 pictures of his elbow rig and came back and built those for a while. Back one time for a club meeting, I made 25 of them for club members. They came to my shop to get them. And the thing was, when you came down here, it was a hot day. If you came down here, we'd all gather. We'd do a little demonstration on it. And if you knew the size of my other shop, my shop in the back that's gone, there was no way in the world 25 people would come and go from there in one day. But we had a great bunch of guys. We all made those hollowing tools, made them with scraper tips and cutter tips, and modified Ellsworth hollowing tools in order to do it. Had a lot of fun. In fact, we had 3 or 4 creations happen just that one day, and that's why we're here. I'm looking for those creations. You get them all out. You get them there. So who's turning this week? What's up? What's on the table? Come on.
Well, let's we got a request here from Mr. Ron Vinson. He's been in the shop turning something, so let's pull Ron up. Ron, where you at?
I think he left.
Oh, okay. We'll come back to him then.
Yeah, I think
Let's
he
see.
had
Let's go
pulled
to
up.
Grandpa. Let's go to Grandpa here. I know he's got something. Hey, Dave.
Grandpa?
Yeah, Grandpa Dave.
Yeah, that's me.
I
Okay,
had a
guys.
lady call me the other day. Or text me about that cute little board that was on last week. It had me
Oh.
going for a few minutes. She's talking about your grandson.
Oh, he's a hoot. But I did get some shop time this week,
All right.
and
Ooh, very nice.
Nice.
Ooh, look at there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
walnut with a locust top, and
Okay.
Bumblebee inside.
That quick. You saw a bumblebee that quick.
and an
You got
ebony
out,
finial, an ebony finial. And then
That's cool.
I decided to my lady down at the art gallery said that I had to try some acorns. So I tried this, and
Nice.
it's a cool thing. And as my recovery today, I blew up 2 tops for this. I was trying to do another one. But I have a question. It's about this wood. Does anybody have any idea what it is?
Ooh, hold it still again. Hold it
Well,
still.
Yeah,
But I also have a piece of it.
that's.
I thought
I
it-
think that's cherry.
That's what it
Choke
looks like
cherry.
to me.
Choke cherry?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's from
or-
North Carolina.
It might be like that decorative cherry the weeping cherry that they put in landscaping. It might be that too.
Yeah, I thought it
Could
looked a little
also
like
just-
cherry, but it doesn't turn like cherry at all. I
It
mean,
could also be, the wild sour cherry.
okay.
Are y'all making up names?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, why not?
no, not at all.
Hey,
Not
Dave,
at all.
Call it
Dave, show
whatever
us.
you want.
Dave, show us the cross section of that where you cut it, the end of it.
The end grain. The
Yeah.
end grain where you cut it.
I'm trying to work in reverse here and it doesn't work. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a cherry of some
Yeah.
kind. Yeah.
yeah.
I agree.
Sure.
I thought
I
the
can go
bark looked a
full-
little
I can go-
cherryish, but
I can pull out a cherry log and it's got this about the same diameter and it looks just like that.
okay, cool.
Yeah, when it gets bigger, then the bark changes. But when it's that small,
That's right.
it gets that sort of birch looking bark on it.
Yeah,
Well, even so a reason why I'm saying it looks like wild sour cherry is because even when it gets big, it keeps that bark. So I don't know if you got big pieces or not. Not all cherry
no, this
gets
is all I have.
not all cherry gets the big coarse ridged bark like what black cherry does.
But I love the grain.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Pretty tough.
Gorgeous.
There's an app on the internet called Leaf Snap. You can take a picture of the bark, the leaf, and it'll tell you what it is.
And I've got a posting, you know, speaking of that, I've got a posting for an app. And it's pinned to the Facebook page. It's called Picture This. And thus far it has been 100% correct on everything. And it'll even tell you if what the disease is of a plant or a flower.
That's interesting.
And it'll tell you what type of fungus or mushroom is or mold, green mold that's growing on the tree.
Sounds
Yeah.
like a chat item for me.
Crazy
Yeah, we-
accurate. Yes.
It's
Well,
been mentioned the last few
yeah.
weeks about mallets. This was the first piece I ever turned. And it is still just as heavy as it was then. It's dogwood.
Mhm.
And that will wrap in a center with good authority.
Yes, dogwood's a good wood for a mallet.
Nice.
Very good,
That's it for
Dave.
me this week.
All right. Well, it looks like Ron is back.
He
Let's go
is.
to Ron.
All right. You got me?
Oh, you moved just when I was ready to put my finger on you.
Oh,
Here.
okay. I'm
There
there.
we go. I got you.
All right. I got just a couple things. I have a ring box. Going the wrong way here.
Right
Oh,
there.
nice.
Nice
Yeah.
green.
And
Grain matches.
it has acrylic in the top. And it actually had black acrylic and white streaks in it, but the white sunk down, so it's all black.
Mm,
So
Beautiful.
very nice. What kind of
it's a
wood
piece
is?
of, it's elm
Yeah.
that was cut down by the electric company. They trimmed the tree and it had some like 12-inch branches. So I come back and got my chainsaw and cut up a bunch of it, brought it home a couple years ago.
Good deal.
And then I guess you'd have to classify it as segmented because it's a piece of hickory. And then I pieced together some walnut on both sides. And then the top of it is purple heart. And
Very
it's just a small
nice.
base,
Very nice.
What's your finish, Ron?
lacquer.
Very nice. Pretty.
Yes.
Like how that hickory and walnut match together. Hey, I've
Very
only
nice.
seen those two combinations.
Good color
That's
in it.
all I
Purple
have.
heart. Held.
All
Very
right.
nice.
Let's go to Randy.
I'm here,
Right.
Yeah, and you're at the top. Keep talking.
and I
Already got him.
have something to share. Our local club meeting was last night, and one of the gentlemen in our club is a retired engineer, and so he came across that cube circle, and he said, "I think I'm going to try one of those." And so he brought two of them to our club meeting last night and did a small demonstration or showing of how he did it, what the ratios of the different parts were, how he made a template for it. This one is, they're each about 3 inches square. So, and so I took several pictures of it. And in the one, let's see, I guess which picture it's on. In this one, he kind of broke out one of the corners. So he's decided to put a mixture of brass and epoxy in it. And then he redid it. And I tried to take a couple pictures of it. And so
You see it pretty good there.
And so he did that and showed it last night and explained how he made it and what the different dimensions are and how the ratios worked and stuff like that. So it was rather interesting. So
He
that's
must be
it.
pretty good with he must be good with the scraper because it get those insides flat, plain, and uniform. That's a beautiful scraping job if he did it.
No, he didn't use a scraper. He said he used a bottom feeder bowl gouge.
Whoa.
He said a
Wow.
couple of people did suggest that that if he wanted to, he could use a scraper, but no, he used a bottom feeder bowl gouge.
That's impressive.
Good.
And he does really nice work. That's it.
All
Wow.
right. Well,
Very
thank
nice.
you. All right. Let's go to Mr. Harbor. Matt.
Howdy, howdy. So these are a few things from in the last week. So both of which I put on Facebook a little bit, but I did this one here, and I this bit up here is intentional. So I think this is linden.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Looks
So I don't know
light.
if I can do this right here. Let me see if I can. There we go. It's got some cracks in it that I'm going to have to work on a little bit, I think. But you can only see it when the light is right.
Okay.
And then I have this piece of cherry, which is real pretty.
That is
And this is only about 6 inches in diameter. So, but I was going through it. I don't know if I can show this. This is like a 1/16 of an inch thing. And when I started, was working on the bottom here. I was like, oh, I better not go any further, because I did have a light on my lathe, but you can see through it up here. And it's but it's I'm real happy with the shape, and I got an opportunity to put an OG on it, and y'all can see that. So I got a little OG here on the bottom. So there we go.
Gorgeous.
So it is fun, and it was a little. This is a kind of an interesting piece of wood. This came out of my class that I'm teaching at the Sam Beaufort Woodworking Institute. I teach a beginning wood turning class there once a month. And the guy who runs the place is a chair maker, and they do an awful lot of stuff with hand tools there. And it's a fascinating place, and a library that has a section on shop jigs that I'm just salivating over. But what he was doing was this piece of wood is not like came out of a triangle. So what he was doing is he cut a cookie off a log. He gets these big logs. So you get a big circular log, and he cuts a section off, a round section off, a log, like you cross cut it, right? And then he takes a hammer and a maul, and he splits it into triangles. And then the bowl, like if the triangle is like this with the bark on the outside like this, the bowl is in it this way, not this way, and not this way. It's in it like, and so the grain is running down the bowl like this. Now it's hard to describe, but this is the outside of the tree. So I don't know, it's the grain is running like this. So it's in the if the tree is going up and down like this, he's got this cookie cut, and the blank is a wedge like this. So it was a fascinating way to do it, because I'd never done a bowl out of a blank formed precisely that way, and I'm like now a believer, because you can do things like shift your circle that you're cutting into the sapwood and get this kind of figure on it, because this is the sapwood on the cherry. So I think that's a really neat sort of highlight, enhancement to the piece. So I'm going to try and do more of those. I hope that made sense. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Absolutely.
Great job, Matt.
Hey,
Thank you.
Matt, it's Jeff. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Jeff? Hey, Jeff.
We're going to see you next week,
You mean at Ron's?
Michigan? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, dude. That's my favorite thing to do every year is Ron Campbell's Hands-On Retreat. So
Can't wait to come up.
it'll be great fun. Yeah, I was looking at the rotation schedule, and I said, dude, I only like to do 2 rotations a day this year, so I can take some other classes. I think he's got me on 3 on the first day. So
Well, I finally got into that Matt Harbor class. I don't know if it's going to be any good or not, but we'll try it.
which one are you in?
The one where you do the weaving on the bowl. In that yours?
You mean the Celtic knotwork with the wood burner?
I don't know which one
Oh,
it
no,
is.
no. That's Dave Curley's class.
Oh, Curly's class. Okay. I thought it was your
Yeah,
class.
that's a great class, man. I sat in on it last year, and that's what he's doing is he's weaving pine needles. He turns a piece, kind of, he'll turn it with natural edge like this, and then he'll pierce holes in it all the way around, and then he'll start weaving pine needles into the top of the piece. So his piece is partly wood turned and then partly woven pine needles in it, and it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, looks very natural, Native American.
It does. And you can do things like dye the pine needles, and he's using these real long pine needles, so it's almost like real thin reeds or something. So if you get a chance, go on the Campbell's Hands-On Retreat site, and because I'm sure there's pictures from last year on there, because the class, his stuff is pretty neat. Curly is spelled Kerly, I think, or Ley maybe. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that'll be fun. You'll enjoy that class because it's cool.
He also does them with the VHS tape. Stretches
The
it
which?
out.
The which run?
VHS tapes.
I haven't seen that.
The recording tapes that you used to use before, the VHS.
Wow.
He stretches it all out, and he weaves with that also.
Okay, it's neat. I mean, there's some
He's
real
the president of our club here.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm sure you know him, Ron. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they've got me
Yeah,
teaching
Dave.
4 classes, so I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you next week.
That'll be good fun. Yeah, come early, man, because
Yeah,
a bunch
I'm
of us
gonna be,
show up early. And I spend an afternoon playing with people like Rebecca DeGroot and Sammy Long if he comes, and Jeff Wong and some other folks. So
Sounds like a good time.
yeah, it is.
Right.
It is.
All right, let's go to Gary. Gary, we got you.
Okay, I'm unmuted. You okay?
Yes, we got you.
Okay. Don't know why, but I had a problem for a few months. I just didn't turn anything. Had no desire. And then all of a sudden, it was like a light bulb went on, and I got busy turning some junk, some items. Not junk.
Yeah, let's not call it junk right
Yeah,
off. Okay.
I'm sorry. It just it slipped of the tongue there. Anyhow, this is a China bowl, China berry bowl that I made. It's about 7 inches wide and about 4 inches deep. And I
like that grain.
Yeah,
Nice.
I turn it so that the grain comes out real well. I even left the hole in it that was there. I like cracks
Beautiful.
and in the bowls because it shows character as far as I'm concerned.
You could peddle it off as a nouveau knitting yarn bowl.
Yeah. I think it'd probably need a bigger hole, but yeah. But anyhow, it's China berry, and I love China berry. I really enjoy turning it. Then I got just looking through some old stuff that I had, and I have about 5 sets of these in the boxes. So I turned oak and a walnut for the pepper, obviously, and oak for the salt. And they're real nice little grinders, and they work very well. I like them. They work very well. So I made up a bunch of them. And then looking through my box of things to do, I came up with some pens. These are 2 of them, cigar pens. They're cigar pens. And they were green, and this is a raspberry type color. And one thing I don't do that a lot of other folks do is apparently they color their tubes. And I don't color the tubes. I like to see them, and like this green, if you can see that, that's the tube that's actually shining through, and it gives it another color. You can actually, if you know what you're looking at, you'll see the tube. But if you don't know what you're looking at, it adds another color to it, which I kind of like. It makes it real nice. Anyhow, those were. I suddenly got got the bug back into turning, so I got 2 bowls out on the lathe that I'll be turning up and finishing, but
Okay,
don't know.
Juatai wants to know if you make another bowl just like that. He's on a diet. He'd like to have one like that for a soup bowl for his diet.
Yeah, it's a portion control, yeah.
That's it. That's it.
I
Yeah.
got one about like that. My grandson says it's the gauge. You can see how full it is or not.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But don't know if any of you ever have run up against that where you just all of a sudden have no desire to go out and turn anything on the lathe, and I mean turn anything. And then all of a sudden a light bulb goes off or the switch gets pulled. And I've been turning all kinds of stuff out on the lathe and making other stuff. I made up 12 wedgie sleds to take to my last meeting at our club, and they handed out those sleds to anybody who wanted one. So it's
Nice.
like I say, just a light bulb suddenly went off.
Right. You know what? I do when I come up against the wall, Gary?
Yeah.
Is I throw on a spindle, and I just work on my technique. You know, making beads, spears, toes. You know, go from working on the skew to the spindle gouge. You know, using various sizes. I've got square skew, I got oval skew, anywhere from 1 inch to ½ inch, and work the techniques for it. Switch it around, learn how to use the toe, you know, for all 3 of the cuts, and then be able to make the cuts, you know, for your cove and for your bead, and making your spears. And then the same thing with your spindle gouges, you know, the actual spindle gouge, not the roughing gouge, but, you know, spindle gouge, and you know, run through your techniques. And after a couple spindles, something will come on because you're tired of doing that.
Yeah, it's a great way to practice. It is. And people say practice doing what? Just what Dane said. Just practice technique.
At least you're on there getting the time in, the tool control, the muscle memory.
Yeah.
That's what I was most surprised at. I hadn't turned a bowl or anything, I mean, in probably 2.5 months. And when I took this thing out and turned it, I had absolutely no problem just getting right back into it and without even thinking about it, positioning everything right and being able to turn the bowl itself. That I was kind of surprised at that. I was expecting to have a learning curve again.
Outstanding.
You got it. Good to see you back in the pack. Really.
Thank you. And that's it.
All right. I can't. Okay, now I got that.
There we go.
It's about 10 minutes before the top of the hour, folks. At the top of the hour, we're going to go to Bob Grinstead, and he's going to give us a little demonstration involving a finial tonight. And it's going to be a pre-recorded demonstration, but then Bob will be available for questions. But before we get into any demonstration, I have to mention again that this is all by volunteer turners, and we kind of give them carte blanche. If they want to come in and demonstrate something, it's okay. We ask that you be safe. You wear your PPE, get rid of the jewelry, things like that to be safe, because that's important. No blood here, right? And then when it's all done, if you say, you know, Bob, I wouldn't have done it that way, that's absolutely fine. But let them get all done first, because a lot of times these guys are sneaky, and they got the second way to do it, and they sneak it in and show it to you. And you've seen that happen here. And that's what I wait for. I mean, you have to know how good I felt the night I saw Cade Bolger, who's probably the funnest skew turning master I've ever seen. He had a piece blow up. He did not miss a beat. Didn't miss a beat. Didn't say a word. Rechucked, turned it, and went back. And that demo's on our website, and showed you how he would have saved that piece. That's what I'm looking for. You see, you plan anything you want, but what happens is quite different. So, but Kay's always with us, and Kay does some really great IRDs. And if you've seen his work, you'll understand how just fine his work is with a skew, and he explains it. It's not like, go ahead and do this. It's, let me show you how this is done. And we're looking for that. So I'm really interested in seeing those types of demonstrations. I have to mention again that we still have the club stickers available. You want more details, it's on the front page of the world's finest wood turning website, worldwidewoodturners.org. Right there, it says if you want to get stickers, they're there. Send me the order. I take care of the shipping and getting them out. Now, I'll get them out in a day or two after I get the payment. This is the first club investment project we tried. And it will be, and somebody got on me the other day about this, about my explaining of finances. I've seen too many stupid moves done by clubs because of finances. We won't do one of those stupid moves. It ain't going to happen on a watch. There's no profit in this. What we generate or consume and all, it will all balance out because we're going to get the word about Worldwide Wood Turners out to the entire wood turning world because it's their club. So we still have those stickers available. Don't we have a Canon thing a challenge coming up? I don't have my calendar near me, but somebody told me the other day that we're taking on Worldwide Wood Turners is going to take on Martin Clarkson and that crew from Great Britain. We're going to take them on next week. That's it. Hey, that's it. We're going to get to them. Martin showed us how to build that. We have that demo on our site, and we're going to do a little Canon demo. And if you've seen them or turned them or have them or want to do them, it's a fun little project. Get this. July 4th picnic. You're at the table with the kids and the grandkids and the neighbors and all that, and you say it's time to eat, and you shoot off a cannon. It's a cannon that doesn't really do a lot of harm, but it is very entertaining. But you can't build just one. Be prepared for that. You can't build just one. Because they're a fun project. They're nice. And as Levi showed us, was it Levi last week that showed us that he put one on the back of a truck? There's no limits, and it's fun. I like to see, really want to see what they come up with. So that's next week. That's our challenge, and these are just show us what you've done challenges. It's nothing that where there's a prize or the prize is in your heart. That's all I can say is you show your work off, and we do have that no bud guarantee. No matter what you show, no matter what you bring forward to us, no matter what, we cannot but when we look at it for a gallery. It's a no but guarantee. I like that but. I've seen 3 or 4 pieces tonight that was shown, and I think, I like that, but you have no idea how hard it is to keep this closed. Really. Yeah. I mean, it's simple little things that you learn here. Wire burning, Formica imprint, chafing with wood, different colors of woods, put different colors into something like a bell or a line or whatever. Yeah. I mean, first time I saw that done, I said, that guy colored it with a Mark's lot. There's 3 pieces of scrap wood he picked up on the motor shop. Believe him until he got the colors right. That's what we'll show you how to do.
Hey, Addie,
go ahead.
We got Paul on, and he's got the completed final finished candlesticks.
Live and directed. 2 o'clock in the morning.
Let's go across the pond here to Paul Hannaby. Hey, Paul.
Morning or evening, whichever. Morning here. Yeah, I just got back from a club demo, so late coming in. But that was the one I did in the demo last week. I think. What was that one? No, this one was the one I did last week. Anyway, I've got a matching pair now, so I'll finish the other one.
Oh, nice.
We've got the 2 there.
Looks great, Paul.
Yeah, they look beautiful, man.
Good.
Yes.
That was a good demo
absolutely.
too. Thanks.
Yeah, that was a fantastic demo.
That
Okay.
was a fantastic demo for sure.
Thanks.
Very nice demo.
And that's what I just made tonight in another demo.
Look at that grain mat.
But
That's
Nice.
beautiful.
What is that?
I'm not sure what the wood is actually. It's an exotic hardwood, it's imported, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I just had this piece that's been kicking around for a long time. I thought, well, it's actually quite a nice piece of wood.
Wonder if that's
I'll just-
cedar wood.
Mail it to me, Paul, and I'll do the research on it and get back to you.
Yeah, it's a much
Marblewood.
finer sort of
Laburnum?
lines than you get in the zebra wood or zebrano. So yeah, I'm not sure what it is. But yes, I'll have to do a bit of research on that. I think I've come across it before, but I can't place it. But yeah, maybe I'll figure it out.
Very nice.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Paul. All right, let's go to almost to the top of the hour. Let's get our safety in. We got like 79 people on. So Sue, let's do some safety.
Buddy, we talk about
For you.
safety, and part of that safety is maintenance of our equipment. Now, we know to keep our tools sharp. We know to make sure you don't have junk all over the place so that you can trip into it. But we need to make sure that our headstock and tailstock is clean. And we've mentioned it before. You can use the brushes that clean your rifles or any other weapons you might have, or just get bottle brushes and clean it out. But you want to make sure that all the dust isn't in there, so that it hardens and creates resin, and then nothing points together. So folks, make sure that's clean. Also make sure that you coat the bed of your lathe. I know it's not called a bed, but the kind of goes over my head right now.
The bedways.
Yes, the bedways. Thank you. But you really should coat them. It'll prevent you from going back and forth with your tailstock, so that you're going so fast that you forgot that you put the point in the headstock already, and you get a round thing. And so, folks, make sure that you're careful this week. Make sure that you're checking your lathes. But one thing that a lot of us don't check, and we all have them on our lathes, are the belts to change the torque. Make sure that those belts are in good shape, that there isn't any matter like shavings or whatever between the belt and the pulleys. Make sure that those belts aren't cracked, and replace them as needed. Remember, as our lathes operate in tip-top shape, our safety is also increased. So folks, this week, please be careful out there, and this year too. But this week, be careful out there, and I hope to see you next week.
We will see you.
Something else to add to that on checking on your lathe. Every lathe has got probably a myriad of Allen bolts or other types of nuts and bolts on them. Check and make sure that they're all tightened up, especially the ones that attach your bed to the legs, because they will loosen up on you.
Great idea. Great idea.
Ooh! I peeked into Jim Duxbury's shop, where he's got those bolts in. He's got fingernail polish painted over it right where it made the contact, because if it moves, the polish will crack. But that's his reason for the fingernail polish. That's all I'm saying. It's just his reason.
I got one more thing to check for you guys, because it bit me. The grub screws on your pulleys inside my Powermatic, over several years, they became slightly loosened, and the pulleys started moving a little bit. So that's something else to check. So put a little Loctite on those things and get them in there good.
It's instant chatter, isn't it? Isn't that what they call instant chatter when you get that movement?
Yeah, pretty much. And you can hear it. You're like, what the heck is that? And it's like, it was the grub screws. So, and one of them was actually gone somewhere, lost in shavings years before. So it's something to check.
Yep. Very
Great
good.
idea.
You, Sue.
Yeah. What was that?
I said, thank you, Sue.
Oh, you're a friend.
All right, well, let's go back to Eddie. We'll do the housekeeping, and then I think we'll do we'll go to a demo.
Well, we'll check on Mr. Bob and see if he's ready for tonight. We're going to go do a demo for you with one of our members. And it's a little while ago, just a few minutes ago, you saw Paul Hannaby from the United Kingdom, and it's like 2:00 in the morning there. You know, he's getting in late from a club meeting, but he's joining us. He showed us a candlestick he made last week. Excellent demonstration. Excellent, because, and it wasn't, Paul, take this properly, sir. It wasn't the shape or design or anything else. But what I liked about it, what I could absorb of what we saw last week, and we'll see again tonight, is a technique that is shared between us. Because Paul made cuts last night that I've made a long time ago, and I thought, well, yeah, it's I like it. It's one of those things. Who would ever do that? Well, it's a tool, and you learn how it cuts. So we want to share how it cuts, and we'll share more gallery in a little while, and a whole lot more. So if you've got an idea, you got a plan, you got a scheme, whatever you got, bring it to the tailgate. We'll get right on it and bring it to you. And we invite you to bring a friend. We'll get plenty. I'm looking at the census count right now. We'll get plenty of room on this tailgate. I mean, there's room for we'll get add 2 or 3 more people in an instant. So I hope to see you out there. And now, are we set for Bob?
I believe so. Bob,
I
we're going
see
to
him
come
clicking.
now.
All right,
Well,
yeah, I'm here.
Tell
Hello,
him
guys.
about the, tell him about the
Yeah.
mute thing, so we know what's going on. Tell him.
Yeah, so, folks,
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. Go ahead and please keep your mics muted. If you have any questions or comments about the demonstration, please save them for the end of the demonstration, and Bob will be coming back on to answer any of the questions or entertain any of your thoughts on the demonstration. So without further ado, I am going to mute everyone. If I can find the mute button. There
You
it
got
is,
it.
under participants. Mute all. And Bob, make sure you.
Yeah, I'm back in. All right, how about now? Yeah, I'm back.
Sounds good.
Okay.
We got you.
Yeah, let me share the screen here. And what I have is a little vase. It's nothing spectacular, but I enjoyed making it. And it has a different little finial on top of it. It has a flame going around it. So let me just start this thing. If I can find it. Well, let's see here. Now maybe I can share it. Share the screen. No, he's still not going to share it. Interest or somewhere on the internet. Stop it. I was looking for.
There we go. Now we got you.
Now you got it. I was looking for some of his designs. Can you hear it? So I'm not sure if this was his or somebody else.
Hear it, yes.
Yep. Yep.
It's
We can
good.
hear it.
It's
See
good.
it.
I had to where to do here. But this is the design that they had, and I liked it. And let me show you how I do it, or how I came up with it. Thanks. So here's a picture of the original vase that I took off the PC monitor, and then I print it and break it down into whatever size I think it is. Okay. Now that I have the size figured out, here from my printout here. And so I think it's about 5.5 inches by about 4 inches. So I cut out a block of con. And I'm going to use this one, or try to use this one. It's got a lot of cracks in it. I don't know if you can see it. But I don't know if that'll work or not. But I'm going to put that at the base. And I'll out the other side, turn this round and hollow it out. You know, you can do this thing in two pieces. It doesn't have to be, hollowed out. You know, if you look at the design, this thing could be made as two separate pieces. You can make this piece and split it right here and make this piece and glue them back together again. You know, and just like a bowl or like a box or something, and then you split it, glue them back together. But anyway, I do have some hollow tools, so I am going to try to hollow it out, and we'll see where that goes. Anyway, that's it. You know, first thing to do is to find the center of this. And again, there's lots of ways to find the center. I do like this probably better than anything, just because it's easy to line it up. I can line it up and see the circles on here and the street center. You know, this block is not even a square. Maybe this is the easiest way to find the center of it. There it is. We're going to use a spur drive and turn it till I can get a tenon on one end, and then turn it round. I got it rounded off, but it's got some pretty big cracks in it, so I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm going to take it down to the shape that I want and put CA glue in it and hope it'll hold together. All I've got to do is do a little more shaping and then hollow it out. But this crack right here bothers me because it's big. It might go deep enough in here to where it's not going to work. But other than that, it's a pretty piece of wood. I think that little center stripe in there will be real pretty. It's just seeing if it'll hold together. But you can see the cracks are still here. They're probably going pretty deep. I'm going to go ahead and fill them, put sawdust in it, CA glue in it, and see if I can't get it to stay together. So anyway, we'll just try that and see what happens. Throw a little bit of sawdust down in there. Well, I think that's going to be fine. It sealed it up pretty good. The only part that's going to show is right here anyway. The rest of it's all going to be carved out. And I think it'll hold together. I hope. We'll just see. But there's another crack over here. And of course, some smaller ones, but I don't think the small ones are going to hurt. But I now need to hollow it out. All right, I have a D handle, I guess you call it a captured D handle, hollowing jig that I made, like Lyle Jameson's, but I made it, and then a steady rest that I made to hold this thing. I think it's a little too far out for me to try to turn that, hollow this out without the steady rest. And so anyway, this is it. So let me get started here and let's see how it goes. I have to change the angle of the cutter, but it's scraping up against this side rather than the tip. Let me just go regrind that tip. Got it hollowed out now, and this end finished out, sanded. I haven't sanded the inside of it. I might take a little sandpaper and sand inside, get your lip here so it doesn't feel so bad. But it's pretty smooth. It's about 1/4 of an inch all the way down here to the bottom, and then all I've got to do is to part it off. And this part will be done except for texturing it. And it's looking pretty good. The cracks worked out fine. They didn't, they go all the way in here, but you don't see them, so they'll be fine. Coming in at a little bit of an angle just to give it a shave on the bottom. I've got it down to about 3/8, and the rest of that I'll just cut off and then come back and grind that little nib off and sand it off. Okay, so I've got this little vessel hollowed out. Little nib cut off the bottom of it, and I got a concave on it, so it'll sit up here. But now I just need a lid for it. I'm gonna make a lid out of this piece of con. And need about a 2-inch lid, a little less than 2 inch. And I think this is less than an inch and a half. It's probably was 1 1/4 inch hole, and I made it a little bigger, flattening it out. So anyway, a little bigger than that, maybe 1 3/8 inches. So I can slide that down in there. And well, that'll be good. Yeah, I have my finial turn. I'm just gonna stand it a little bit. Not too bad like it is. Okay, now I want to size this tenon that I'm gonna make on here. It's gonna go inside the frame. It's 3/8. Well, I had it close to 3/8 before, but now it is definitely a 3/8 inch. Tenon. Okay, perfect. Go ahead and cut that off. And then there's probably enough here. The cracks don't get me, but there's probably enough here to make the lid. And of course, this is made out of a sawzall blade. And if that's not exactly the right size, I can always come back to that plug cutter and straighten that up. Otherwise, there's my little finial. Lip. Finer than the one. Let's see what it looks like on here. I think it'd be all right. I just need to take this down a little further. Okay. Perfect. Sand that a little bit and that will be perfect. Good. Well, I have a 3/8 inch tenon on the cap to go up inside the flame, and a 3/8 inside the on the finium. So I'm ready to go here. Let me just cut this thing off, and I'll have a cap and my flame. I mean my finium. Perfect. Well, this is all going to be colored anyway. So that and the finial, and it'll have a flame sitting in between them, coming up around the finial. All right, so I have the base cut out and done, and I have the lid cut out. So the lid's gonna look like about like that. And it does have a little tenon on it. I could have drilled a hole in here instead, and I just didn't want to go all the way through. So I left a tenon sticking out, and I'll put the flame between these two. I'll probably cut these down a little bit so they sort of fit a little closer. But here is the finial. And then I'll put a little flame around it. Hopefully it'll be fine. This will be painted black or dyed black. So it'll stand out real good. I've got a little character in this. This is a little block of wood that I've trying to make the flame out of. It has a little bit of white on it and darker stuff. So I'm gonna try to put that at the top rather than the bottom. Although most of that's gonna get cut away, maybe I'll put that at the bottom. But I just need to go to the bandsaw and cut across in here so my spur drive will fit in here, and so I can turn it. I'm going to turn a tenon on here where I can get I'll put it in the jaws, pin jaws, and clamp it down. And then I need to drill a hole in it, 3/4 inch hole, so this thing will go down inside of it. And be about that tall, something like that maybe. And then cut a flame. But let me see how that works out. All right, I have a spur drive in here, and created a tenon. So I can get the pin jaws on it, something to hold it. Otherwise, I can't drill this with a spur in here. So anyway, now it's going to hold it, and all I've got to do is drill it out 3/4 inch and to about 2 1/4 inches down, and then come back and turn the rest of it away. Hopefully, I'll still have some color in it where I can, I don't know if you can see the white or not. Let me turn that light off. Maybe that's better. But it does have a little bit of white still in here. And I want some of it white, some of it not, but I'm going to try to keep the flame, as much of the flame in the white as I can. Might not work, but we're going to try it. Anyway, I'm still going to use air to clean it out with, and thing down to about 400. And drill. I do need to change this. There's not enough leverage for me to stand over here and drill it. So I'm going to move that over. Take a second, get over there. Then I have a little cheater bar that I stick on here to give me a little more leverage. The air on here cleans it out, keeps it cleaned out, so I don't have to keep moving it in and out, clean out the chips, and it also keeps that bit cool. So that works pretty good. All right, so that's it. Now I just need to turn it and get this thing to about 1/8 of an inch wall and round off the bottom down. But it's looking good. Well, I guess that part of it. All right, so I'm gonna have to do that one again. I just cut it off, made a funnel out of it. Okay, so we're gonna try it again. This time I actually marked the depth of that hole, so I don't cut it off. And I'm gonna actually go ahead and mark the end of the bevel. Get it up here to a good speed. Okay, so there's the end of my hole. This is the end of the bevel. So the bottom of it. And I got to remember I have a 3/8 inch hole in here. So I don't want to cut that off till I get ready to part it off. But now I got to take it back down to 1/8 inch walls down through. Okay, so now I'm down to about an 1/8 inch wall. That's about where I want to be. I'm going to go ahead and stand it and part it off. Well, the back of the pad up here so I can get it a little smoother. I could have cut it a little smoother. I was just in a hurry and didn't do it. So now I got to waste time sanding it. Hey, on one end of it. All right, so now got a little 3/8 inch hole in here and see if I can't cut that flame out of it. Figure out what portion I want here. But that's all the turning. All right, I've got my flame kind of drawn out on here. If I had to do this again, I wouldn't have cut that off. I would have left this that little piece on here where I could hold it better. Because now it's going to be kind of hard to hold. But I am going to go to try to do this without breaking it off. I think it will. I think it'll be fine. But I do have it kind of drawn out on here, what I think it's going to look like. And we'll just wait and see. Maybe I'll have to come down further here to make it look a little better. But we'll see. So let me get started on that. I have several of these bits, Dremel bits, but this one here is a one for a tile, and it works pretty good. And I might end up using it, but I like the cuts off. So let's see where that goes. Get out here in the middle of something so it's not going to hurt anything. That works pretty good. Let me see if I can do it. Now let me try the other one. As you can tell, I don't carve much. So really don't like to carve. But a few things like this, this is not big, it's pretty small. So, but I don't have enough experience to tell you what's going to work and what's not. Well, there's my flame. Oops, get it down here. There's my flame, but turn it on around here. But, I don't know what to do with this. Do I break this up where I've got it drawn here? Or do I just put one pattern all over it? I just don't know. I probably wouldn't break it up kind of like what I got. Maybe I don't make it quite so busy. I just don't know what to do with it. But anyhow, I'm going to get started on it and see if I can't carve this thing out. This is my third attempt. The first one, I cut it off too quick, and anyway, it bottomed out, but cut everything off. And this one, when I was doing it, it knocked some of the tip off, so it's too short. So I made it about a half an inch longer, and I'm going to have to go slower. I did put a thing on this one, hoping to make it a little tougher, maybe it'd hold together a little better. And I did leave the handle on here, so now I've got something to hold while I'm trying to carve. So let me try that one. Put the other bit in it. This was a ceramic tile bit you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's. That works really good, real aggressive. I'm not sure what they call this one, maybe a bull nose or something. But it's aggressive too, but it's not as bad as the other one is. All right, so I think that's it. I don't want to get too thin up here. I'm afraid I would break it off again. So now all I've got to do is to cut this joint off, and it should go together pretty good. Might sand it a little more. I practiced with a few bits first because I don't know what I'm doing. So anyway, I tried this and that worked okay. I've got several other bits here that I used, and they seem to work okay. So anyway, I'm going to use those and see if I can't do this. And that's
Are those the saber tooth ones, Bob?
The whole thing in one pattern.
Are those what?
Saber tooth?
Yeah, the green ones are the saber tooth, I think.
Gotcha.
I think the cut saws are yellow, but I don't know.
Please save comments till after the demo.
That might have looked good. But anyway, I decided to break it up and do different things. So let me just go ahead and color this, and then we'll see what it looks like, because it's done now, except for the coloring and sanding. I've just still got to sand this a little bit, knock some of the nibs off of it. I have sprayed black lacquer on here, 2 coats, and coated it good. And I'm going to use that Joaquin iridescent paint to paint it with. I've got it all taped off and ready to go. I have the paint mixed up. This is it's about twice as much of a Flotro. Let me guess what that's called. Anyway, you can get that at Home Depot. I mean, there's a big box full of it, I guess. But what I want to do is to put the least color that I like, the least one is the green. I like the gold the best, the violet. Turquoise is probably next to the gold. And but I just want to put them on here a little at a time, not a whole lot. You know, just kind of splosh it on and look at it and see what it looks like. But the green's not as pretty to me as some of the other colors. And I'm going to wash the brush out. And put the violet on. And just kind of, like I said, splash it around here a little bit. Wash it out. And the turquoise. Turquoise usually turns out real pretty. The gold does. The only one left is gold. Let me get that one over here. Gold to me is about the prettiest color. Lee, take this saran wrap and wrap it and then pull it off. Out of here. all you gotta do is just wrap it around here, smear it a little bit. Pull that thing off of there. All right, let's see what that looks like. If it doesn't work, I guess I can hopefully paint it black again. Okay, so here's the final product here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but anyway, that's it. I think it turned out pretty good. So I'm happy with it. And the color turned out fine. I was afraid the color, I afraid I put too much paint on it, but it still turned out all right. Still real pretty. Signed it on the bottom. And turn it where you can see it. But that's it. That's the final product there. I think it turned out pretty good.
That's just beautiful. Just beautiful.
Well, thanks. I
Good
appreciate it.
job, Bob. Nice job.
Beautiful.
All right, now
Thank
we'll
you,
open it
Bob.
up for questions and comments.
Okay.
What kind of paint is that?
What kind of paint?
Yeah.
That's that Josana iridescent paint. You know, you paint it flat black, you know, shiny, glossy. Black lacquer works real well, dries fast. And once that's dry, then you come back and kind of splash the colors on. But you need to throw them out so that they'll.
What's it called? Josana? What'd you call it?
Josonja, I think. Josana.
Matt, can you put a link in the demo in the chat for us, please, for the Josanya paints?
And I mean, I've had a little trouble sometimes with painting. Did you go back through and kind of wipe it off of that center strip, or how did you get that paint off of there?
No, I actually I covered that with that painter's tape first.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it wouldn't get paint on it.
And then did you spray some kind of lacquer on it after you were done?
Yeah, I came back and sprayed that Krylar, or Krylon, that was it triple thick Krylon on it, and covers real well, makes it good and shiny. So yeah.
Triple thick poly, right?
No, it's not poly. It's the ones. It's KR. Was it YLON or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Krylon. You buy it at Lowe's, I think, and Walmart. Walmart's got it.
Yep.
Well, that's really a really cool. I mean, like really nice.
Well, thanks. I enjoyed doing it. You know, I worry about the color of the paint because you can get too much of that paint on here, and when it overlaps each other, well, it kind of deteriorates the colors that you were trying to get. But this was still fine. I still get the golds, I get the blues and the turquoises, so it worked out fine.
Beautiful.
So Bob, on the paints with the Josanya that you were putting on, it looks like it goes on white and then it eventually dries to that particular color. Was I saying that correctly?
Yeah, you did. You said it right. That all that paint is white when you first put it out of the tube. It has a slight tint to it, but basically it's white. It's hard to tell the colors. That's the reason you need to mark the little mixing dishes so you know which color you actually put in it. But once it dries, that's when you get your color. You can dry it with a dryer.
How long does it take to dry?
I don't know, probably an hour and have it dry, but you can dry it with a hair dryer.
Okay.
But what I do is just paint them and then walk off and leave them, come back the next day or go do something else. You know, I don't, because the more it dries, the more the color comes out. So you want it definitely good and dry. And then when you spray the anything, lacquer or anything over the top of it, also makes color come out.
Right. Okay. Well, very good demo.
Well, thanks.
What,
techniques there.
What kind of sandpaper were you using?
Stuff you buy at Home Depot and Lowe's. It's kind of like an Abernet, but I don't know what they call it. It's not what they call it. But it goes on a little 5-inch disc sander, one of those vibrating sanders, orbital sanders,
Huh.
Where'd
Okay.
you learn that plastic wrap technique?
I was watching some video. I did a plate with that once before, and it worked real well. You make you've seen them make the platters, and where it's just the edge of it is colored, and that's what he did. He splashed the color on with a paintbrush, and then he just stuck the saran wrap against it and just kind of flattened it on there, smashed it on there, and then pulled it off. And it kind of makes the paint, I guess, feather out and make different designs on it.
Now, what did you mix with the interference paints? You mixed something with it to thin it out or something, didn't you?
Yeah, but it's Flotrol. Trol is what it is. It's from Home Depot or Lowe's.
Sometimes Home Depot doesn't have it, but you can always find that at Kelly Moore.
Yeah, there you go. Any paint place is going to have that. It's for thinning paint. Acrylic paint, it's a water-based thing.
Okay, thinning acrylic paints, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very cool.
All right, well, thanks.
Yeah, it looks wonderful.
All right, and it looks like Matt found a link for it as well. Also, Matt had a question on the bits. Matt, could you repeat that again so everybody can hear, please?
Yeah, sorry about jumping in the middle there. He had some saber tooth burrs in there, and that's what I was asking about. I guess my question, my follow-up question to that would be, which burr did you find worked best for carving out the flame bits?
The ceramic tile bit works better if you're trying to get the bulk of it out, because because it's smaller, it would actually cut through, and like a saw blade, he's like cutting through and cutting the most of it off. But when you get ready to do the fine detail, the other one, because it's bigger, seemed like you had more control over it than that little bit, the little bitty round. I think it's like probably 3/16 of an inch round. It's not very big, so there's not as much control.
I'm a fan of the saber tooth burrs. I did demo them for a bit, and I know that they have the little teeth on there are computer placed. In my experience, I think the saber tooth burrs seem to stay on the wood better than everything else. And I've tried everything, but I'd love to try those tile cutting drill bits or whatever you call them for the Dremels, because that looks like that would work pretty good too.
Yeah, I was watching was it Sammy Long, the guy that does the carving and he carves leaves.
Yes.
I was watching him at SWAT one year, and that's what he used. And he was getting the bulk of the material, where you have the holes and the parts you want to actually take completely out. That's what he was using to cut it out with. And it works pretty good for the bulk areas. When you get close to the detail, you need to find something.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I use the green saber tooth burrs for bulk. They're more of a coarse bit. Sabertooth makes a fine and an extra fine burr, a yellow and a white. I like the yellow ones. I have and the white ones are very nice. I keep one of those on one of my Dremels in the shop, and I use it for like the nubs and the bottoms of bowls and stuff. But yeah, when you get to the fine detail, you got to switch to either a sanding drum or I like to use. I switched to the micromotor, and I use what they call stump cutter bits. Stump cutter burrs.
Yeah.
Because those leave a real clean cut. I like those. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of choices.
Yeah, there are lots of choices. Cut saws are good too. I like those too. And I don't know between the colors, but anyway, both of those cut saws and saber make about the same bits.
Yeah, I had more trouble. I had more trouble. In my experience, I had more trouble controlling the cut saw burrs than I did some of the other ones, like the saber tooth burrs. Yeah. But your experience may vary.
No, I haven't had that much experience with it. I've got both of them, and I don't use them enough to really be able to tell you which one's better.
Gotcha.
But they both work.
So I'm gonna have to go try the tile cutting
Well,
Dremel things.
the-
That looks like a great idea.
The tile cutting bits, isn't that for the rotozip?
That's probably what it's for. Yeah, because
I
it's
think
for,
it's a rotozip bit.
yeah. it
Well,
might-
Dremel has those tile cutting kits that comes with those bits.
Yeah, this.
So I
this-
have a stack of them that are all Dremel brand. So
Okay, yeah, these weren't Dremel. This was probably like Trace said, it's something else, but sure, it wasn't Dremel, that's for sure.
yeah, if you buy Dremel's tile cutting kit, it comes with like 4 of those bits.
Yeah.
Amazon's got those Dremel bits for about $8, just a single bit, so.
Mhm. I think this was cheaper than that. It was at Home
Okay.
Depot or Lowe's, and I think there was a couple of them in there for maybe $5. I don't remember, but
Hey, Bob, I think those are the rotozip.
they
For the,
probably are. Because it's
for
really
the
for a
rotozip,
cutter. It's the guys putting in ceramic tile all the time.
right, it's a tile cutter bit.
Yeah.
So I got a question on the feed rate when doing that. I haven't done enough carving for it to be instilled in my brain. Are you going with the rotation of the bit or the opposite direction when you're cutting?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm trying to take material away.
Yeah, okay. Matt, do you have any opinion on that?
Yeah, one direction clearly works better than the other.
Okay, yeah. You see, I couldn't remember, and I just wanted to. Okay.
Yeah, I know that when I'm cutting, I cut towards myself. When I'm cutting down on the left side of something, and that's usually the way that I'm moving. So I don't know how that works rotation wise, but that works a lot better than trying to do it the other way.
Probably since you're left-handed or right.
Sure.
I always move. I don't, if you put the bit against the thing, it'll cause it to run. I
Yeah.
always move in the opposite direction when I'm making the cut. So I'm pushing the cut in there. You have a lot better control than the other way.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, the opposite direction of the rotation.
Yeah, you have it so you pushing it so you'd actually be cutting more into it than you would the other way. If it went the other way, in the direction the bit's going to run, you don't have as much control over it.
Think about it like having somebody else drive your car for you, or you sit in the passenger seat but have no control. It's
You
going to
got to
happen.
use it. You got to use it just like a rotor. You got to feed into it. If you go the other
Yeah.
way, it'll run away from you.
Well, you can, most of your carvers, you can carve forward or in reverse, depending on which way you want the chips, whether you want them to fly into your face or fly away from you.
Hmm.
It's all about controlling it.
Yep.
I really like that handle you had on that Dremel. Is that a Dremel or something else you bought?
Come here. Eddie.
All right, we had a question
Bob,
come in for Bob, but we lost it.
Oh, Bob popped off.
Okay. Someone was asking Bob about the handle on it, tool that
Right.
custom made or whatever. Let me just tell you, you got a few minutes to go to a wood carving group that does decoys and birds and all those other things. Then you're going to see some really unique carving apparatuses and gizmos. And a lot of the parts you won't find with our specialty groups that we hang with and buy with. It's a very specialized group of people. I mean, the Louisiana Waterfowl Carvers and Collectors Guild is located here in New Orleans. And to go to their shop, I can't find any of those bits and tips and cutters and all that they have. And these guys do some pretty good work. I've got some absolute art that was given to me early on in my career from that group. And you watch them. All right, watch them do that, but ask them to sharpen it. Then if they'll share that with you, you're all right.
Well, you got to be careful around their work because if you make too much noise, it'll fly away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I joined one of those groups on, joined one of those groups on Facebook and submit a wildlife carving group. And I submitted one of my leaf carving pieces and they threw me off the group because it wasn't a duck.
A lot of the wood carving groups here use dental bits.
Yeah. That's usually used, what we usually use that for piercing or really fine detail. They run the dental bits, you run in a different sort of machine and they run like, okay, so a Dremel will do what, up to 36,000 RPMs or something like that?
Right.
Or maybe it's 18,000 on the Dremels. The
I've got
micromotors
one that does
do,
36.
okay. How far do the micromotors go? They go to like 40K, right?
Something like
The
that.
di-
Yeah.
No, I know some that-
50.
some that'll get up to 60,000 RPMs.
It depends on the
Okay.
micromotor you're using. Mine only does about 30. It
If
just
it's
depends
a-
on my speed.
If
but the
it's
difference between-
air-powered, if it's air powered, it can go up to 60 or
It's not a
more.
micromotor if it's air powered.
Right.
Yeah, but it
That's-
depends, also
that's the
depends
point.
on, depends on if it's brushless or not.
So if you go to one of the dental drills and you're using a dental bit, then usually those are in the 400,000 RPMs. Now, I had a very interesting discussion with Dixie Biggs a number of years ago when I was considering what to bring to a class. And she said that for much of the bulk carving, that what I wanted was a micromotor because the dental drills didn't have the strength to do the carving. Because a lot of what you're doing is you're just using the high RPMs to burn through stuff. And I could do all of the carvings that I've done with the micromotors. So, and I still love that machine. That's one of my favorite machines. So I hope
Bob,
that
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I hope that shows some of the differences between them.
Now there's one that nobody's talked about, and it's like a Fordham flex shaft. It is great for carving because you can go from 1/4 inch down to smaller sizes too, but you don't have as much, the micromotor is good for more flexibility with it, but you can still handle the 1/4 inch with the flex shaft.
Yeah, and the Fordham's got the power to go behind it. I mean, it's
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's got that torque. It's not going to bog it on you.
Now
there's
I have one that's really neat. It actually is the old dental piece that they used in the lab. So it has the belt that runs through all the pulleys and comes on down through a set of pulleys and runs back on it. Hey,
That is old.
you laugh, but I have a tremendous torque with it because I have a big motor in the back driving it. Driving this
Trey,
little
I got it. Trey, one of my friends here has got that same machine. He's got the whole setup. He's even got a dental chair and one of those overhead light thingies.
Well, this is one that was used in the lab because the motor, it has a separate mount, and the mount to it mounts to the motor on it. And it was not set up to be in a chair. It was set up to be sitting in a lab.
Wow.
So that's the way it was set up. And the bit for it is a quick change tool bit. You just rotate it and pull it out, slip it back in. It's
375 horsepower.
It has tremendous horsepower because that big motor is sitting in the back. Driving on that small shaft. I have more torque with it than I do any of the rest of them for the small size.
Very good. Hey, Bob, there was I'm gonna spotlight you not only for the question, but also for your showpiece here. But there was a question about the handle you had on the Dremel. Is that part of the Dremel, or did you fabricate that?
No, that I had to buy that. That is an attachment you can get for a Dremel, and it works real well. It instead of holding it, like a screwdriver or something, you actually can hold it like a I don't know. It gives you a different handle.
It's more like a pistol grip. You can get them on Amazon.
Yeah, and it works real well. I think it works for nearly all the Dremels. I'm not sure, but it does work real well.
Yeah, I think I might get one of them, or see if I have a hand at making myself one for it. That's what I use as a Dremel.
Yeah. You probably could make one, but this one fits over the nose, and then it has then that little piece just screws back down on top of it and tightens it up. So it's pretty easy to put on and off. It's not hard.
Right on. Well, let's go ahead
Smith
and
put the
take
link.
a look at your gallery piece.
Oh, okay. Yep. Hold on just a second. Let me get them here.
Hey, Dan, Randy Smith put the link to the Dremel handle on there.
Oh,
in
okay,
chat.
sweet. Thanks, Ron. Thank you, Randy.
And my wife wanted we're going to an anniversary party. We're a friend of ours. And she wanted me to make something. And she said, oh, okay, we'll make a platter. So I made a platter, but and this was out of a crotch piece of pecan. But when I got it made, she says, oh, that looks like a plate. So anyway, so now I have a 11-inch crotch plate, but we're not going to give them that. Yeah, it turned out real nice. I mean, I like the crotch look of it, and that's 3408 finish on it. And then I said, okay, well, I'll try to make you a platter. So then I glued together 3 pieces of oak, and just regular dimensional oak, like 3/4 inch or whatever they call it, 7/8 inch, 9 inches, and I glued 3 pieces of it together and cut out a 16-inch circle and turned that on the lathe, and it turned out real well. It's the edge itself is a little less than 3/8 of an inch. The thickness in here is about 3/16, and in here, past my foot is again about 3/16. So it turned out real well. I thought it came out good. I could have worked a little more and got the see that dimple in the middle here. I can't get the light on it right, but right there.
Yeah, we see it.
Yeah, I could work a little more and got it out. I actually couldn't see it. I should have held a straight edge up against it like a ruler, and then I could see it, but I really couldn't see it until I got it finished, and off the lathe. And at that point, it's too late. I guess I could have sanded some more on it, but nobody but a wood turner is going to look at that anyway. So I think I'll be.
That turned out great. Of course, that's 3408 as well.
Yeah, this is 3408 as well. Yeah. And
very nice.
Real well.
That looks real pretty, Bob.
Well, thanks. But that's my 2 pieces for tonight.
What is 3408?
Go ahead. Somebody...
Go ahead, Bob.
It's a CA glue, a surgical type glue, but it's 34. It's made by Parfex. They don't sell it to you directly. You'd be 55 gallons of it at a time or something. But Mark Soleil sells it. Kirk Creation sells it. There's several places that sell it. But it goes on real well. It's like a one and done finish. You wipe it on, wipe it off, and buff it out. And there's not much to it. It's very easy finish. As long as you can buff it. If you can't buff it, then you don't want to use it for that. But it is real good stuff. An 8 ounce, you can get it in 8 ounces from Mark Soleil or any of these guys. But 8 ounces is like $40 with the shipping, and it lasts as much or more than a quart of any type of a finish, like the general finish is a bowl finish. So it goes probably further than that quart does. And the quart's going to cost you close to $40.
Yep.
So
and we just put a link on it. We put a link for it on our chat tonight, so you can order it.
Okay. All right. Well, good deal. That's the wood turning store there. Yeah. All right. But yeah, it works real good. I like that finish. As long as I can buff it, that's what I'm going to use because it's too easy. You can put lacquer on, and lacquer does not dry. I don't care what you say. You can make anything, put lacquer on it, and you set it up, and you let it sit there for a week. It could be a month later, and you set it someplace for a week, and you go to move it, and it kind of pops. It kind of sticks. So to me, lacquer just never ever dries. The Krylon does. The Krylon works real well. That triple thick, but the 3408, it dries immediately.
Yep. Well, once it dries me, minute and a half, it's
It does have, yeah, it does. That's the other thing about this CA glue, the 3408. It has a slower setup time. So you have like 45 seconds. Yeah, 45 seconds after you put it on, you're putting it on a piece of wood or even this platter. I did one side at a time, because it is a big surface. So I wipe it on and you have 45 seconds or about 45 seconds to mess it around, work it and actually wipe it off, because that's what you're going to do. You don't want it to sit there on the surface. So you wipe it off, and as it sets up, it's like it sets up first in the wood and it forces the rest of it to the top. So even you wiped it off, you can come back, a few seconds later and it's like there's little beads everywhere, a little perspiration. So you need to keep wiping it and
Like it's
make
sweating.
sure it's all, like it's sweating. Just make sure that it's all off there. Because if you let it sit there, you end up with this little rough surface that you're going to have to sand again anyway.
Yeah. So the beauty of the 34.8, like what Bob was saying, to wipe on, wipe off in the long open time. One of the beauties is that it's got no smell. It doesn't have the fumes that you get from any of the other CAs that you use, whether it's Mercury or Starbond or BSI or Type Bond or Gorilla. And then with that amount of CA that you're putting on a finish, you don't have that spontaneous white bloom where the CA all of a sudden thermally heats up and creates a white plasticized mess that's got to be sanded off. And then also with 3408, you don't have to power sand because you're not putting multiple coats on. It's literally one and done and buff, and you got a piece that's nice and shiny and pretty, and the internal wood pores have been plasticized and sealed.
Yeah.
Beautiful finish. All right, so with that, let's go back to Eddie here, and then we'll start up gallery.
Oh, I got a question for Bob. Hold on.
Okay.
So you're using a shopsmith, right, for your wood turning?
Yes.
Did you create all those pieces and accessories and things like that, or?
Yes, I created them. Shopsmith's not going to sell you anything like that.
No.
But, I looked at the shopsmith, and I had already bought the thing, and I'm glad I bought it. I mean, not to say there's anything wrong with it. It's just that it's a little light for turning 16-inch bowls. The shaft is 5/8 of an inch. It's a 2-horse motor, which is great, but it does get hot. The old belt-driven stuff, it didn't matter whether it got hot. I mean, this thing's still going to run. But the DVR type motors they have in here, then it gets too hot and it'll actually shut down on you.
Wow.
But
I have the older one.
That's after putting it up. I'm pretty aggressive. So when I start turning, and especially a big bowl or something, I'm really pushing down on it, And so it does get hot, but I'm running this thing for an hour. And so I put a fan on the side of it. I put a blower. It's not just a regular fan. It's actually a blower that would go in some type of a ductwork, But it's a caged blower, and it puts out lots of air. So I put it on the side. There's a little hole on the side of it. You can loosen up the cover and flip it out of the way, and this thing just sets in it. And I'd have no trouble with the heat.
Yeah, I should do mine. I still have the belt-driven Mark V, but man, when I would torque down on that thing, it would get hot. You touch the headstock, and it's like, holy moly!
It will, but you could do the same thing.
I welded up a steady rest, but I was just wondering how you hooked up that your boring bar and stuff to it. I missed that part of the demo, so I'll have to watch the recording. But
okay, yeah, I made several different pieces there. The shaft is 5/8 of an inch coming out of the head, right? Okay, and I bent that twice, and it's like 250 every time you bend it. So I said, I'm not buying that again. So I bought the first one, and the second one, I took it all. I took the carriage thing out, and set it over on a bench, put a piece under it and straightened it with a hammer. So I got it back straight, you know, and didn't take a whole lot. It's softer than I thought it was. And it didn't take much to bend it back straight. So once I got it straight, then I came back and I put a 5/8 inch coupling, it's about 3 inches long, in front of it. And then I put bearings around that.
Oh.
And then I got a 1 inch by 1/8 inch threads, an adapter that would go down to a 5/8. Adapters 5/8 on one end and the inch threads on the other.
Okay.
And mounted that to the headstock. So now I've got the 5/8 coming out. I've got a little coupling, and then I have this 1 inch adapter stuck on here too, right?
With an extra bearing, yeah, because the bearings in them are kind of weak. They're not the strongest bearings in the world.
Right. So then I put a bearing in front of all that on kind of like the triangled apparatus to to bolt down to my carry to the tubes. Actually, I have like a 3-point hook up there. You know, I've got a bearing with 3 points on it that's tied down, and then 4 inches away, I've got another bearing. So it's not going to go anywhere. It'll never bend it again.
Yeah.
It works great for me.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I have to mess around with mine some more. I haven't used it all that much the last few years, but I've been thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, it still works. I mean, the Mark V would still be fine. It's just this one you can go slower. It's also got a 2-horse motor in it.
Yeah, I've got one of those speed reducers they used to sell for mine, so I can get it down. But yeah.
Oh, sure. But I've taken care of all the problems. You know, the tailstock was a little lightweight. When you put pressure on it, it actually moves too much. And so I beefed that up too, So anyway, I've done several things and really I have no problem turning with it now. At first I thought I had to go out and buy, another $5,000 piece of equipment to do this stuff. And then I realized that, well, once I modified it all, I don't really need to do that. So anyway, just working with what you have,
Oh yeah. All right. Thank you for your answers. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Bob. All right, now let's go back to Eddie. Eddie, we got you now.
I'm just making notes. I mean, we got people rebuilding Shopsmiths right here, live, and above all the other things. I do like that flame video. I do like that. And it gives you some opportunity to take what you saw Bob do just now and play with it a little bit. We're going to see some more of those in our galleries. I'm pretty darn sure, because you saw how it was done, and now you've got an idea. And all that carving, it's blending in, getting it there. And once you get started on it, you'll go crazy with it, because then you got your hands for accents. He didn't put accents on it. Don't hold him back. He's going to do it. Had a good meeting tonight so far. We've got open time for gallery. If you got something you'd like to show tonight, you can do so. Bob said he uses a little blower into his Powermatic, his Shopsmith, to keep it cool. I have a one-way 2436. If I want to sand something large like a platter or a cowboy hat or something, and I want to bring the speedway down to do some sanding on the power, I have to turn my blower on and put it on my converter in order for me not to get a shutdown. And this is a big, heavy-duty lathe, but they still understand this. And high frequency, top speed, very little heat is generated by the converter. You bring that speed down, that heat goes up, and it'll cook itself right there. So if you're into a little problem with it, first time off the bat, figure out how to get a little more ventilation to it. That little $10 fan you can get at Walmart will work really well. And get them soon, because they're not going to be $10 for long. But I'm a great fan of that cooling equipment. I've got cooling fans on that, and also in my bandsaw, I've got a separate fan for with extracting, and it's just a little thing that came out of a computer frame, a little 2-inch fan. It fits just right over the end, and it's not healthy. I mean, Sue would hit me in the head for using this, because it throws the dust out on the shop floor. But I get it out away from it when you're doing fine cuttings like corian and plastics. You need to get rid of that, because as you work with plastics and resins and stuff, as you cut them, you may not realize it when you're cutting them. If the resin is not at the right mix, it is still soft. It's still pliable, and it will bond back together. You cut a piece of half-inch formica with a quarter-inch blade, half-inch plexiglass quarter-inch blade, go right through it. When you get to the other side, it's welded itself back together again, because you didn't cut anything away, you melted it away. So getting that junk away from there will work. What else we have tonight for gallery, folks? We want to see some of the stuff, and we're going to ask you a couple of questions. This is the deal. What is it? What kind of wood did you use? How big is it? And above all else, Dane will not let you go until you tell him what the finish is. And it doesn't have to be 3408. Dane and Brenda or 3408 nuts. You're really. But we want to know what you're finishing with, and if you're using a particular technique. Bob said he used that 3408 because you can go on it and you work it back in. I learned CA finish from a gentleman named Trout, and I can't remember his first name, at SWAT maybe 15 years ago. And people say, "Oh, that's not a great idea. That's not a great. That's a terrible waste." Using thin and medium thin super glue, I've done finishes for years, but I have my system for doing it, my technique, my way. And you might think it's not worth that much effort or time, but when you develop your own, we want you to share it with us. If you got something special, like Bob just said, you got to get those bubbles off, the beads off. Yeah, because you walk away and get a sandwich, you come back, you got another 2 hours work ahead of you if you didn't take a good look at it. And what above all else, don't put a hot light on it. I read that someplace. It wouldn't happen to me, because I wouldn't put an incandescent bulb that close, and because it get curls. But we'd like to see how you're doing this up. So we're going to go back to gallery. If you got something to show, throw it in the gallery. I got to mention, I do see that Scott Hampton, Scott, y'all know him, yeah. All right, and Cade Boger both listed IRDs in our chat. And you may ask, all right, we've put that in the chat. We put the link to get to 3408. We've got some other things. The chat is open chat. If you got something you want to share with the club, it goes into chat. We won't censor it. We won't take it out. We don't put any limitations on it. That's just not to go so commercial. It's crazy. But that's how we share things. And from the chat, our master webmaster, Dave Rhodes, will pull items out of the chat and place them on our events calendar, which is on our website, because it's all about sharing what we know and where we can go. And so if you got something that you like to share, and I said Dan was kind of crazy about this 3408. Don't even get him lit up on bartering. Don't stoke the fire with the bartering thing. We have a bartering page on and it's, if you haven't checked it out, you need to look at it. But don't get him started on it, okay? Because he gets a little bit of bald-headed crazy there, just like I do. So, we have any gallery up?
Yes, sir. We have we got Scott Teague up. Hey, Scott.
Uh-oh.
There he is.
Well, I got some cannons to show. If you can see them.
All right.
So,
nope, we're not seeing me.
Let's try it again here. Scott.
You got me, Dane?
Oh, keep bouncing around. Here we go.
Now we got you.
There's a couple cannons for you a week early.
Oh, can you move them closer to your computer?
Sure.
Nice. Don't aim them at the computer. Safety Sue will get you.
There we go. How's that?
Much better. Looks good, Scott. You gonna fire one off?
No.
No?
I don't want the mess.
No? Oh, come on. Take one for the group.
So just a couple I wanted to show them this week, because they're going to be gone by next week. So
Nice. Very good. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right, let's go. Let's see. Yes. Let's go to Randy. He had something he wanted to share about something else. Randy, you still there? There he is.
One of the things Gary mentioned was with his pens was that he likes to see the brass tubes. And one of the things that people do is they will color the inside of the blank with a different color, and the different colors will change the color of the blank, sometimes beyond recognition. These are two pens that I made for a relative who was expecting fraternal twins, a boy and a girl. And so for their baby shower, I made them each two pens. And these are the pens. And
Nice.
those are exactly the same blank. Both those pens were made with the same blank.
This is not fair.
That's a classic
The
example.
only
right there.
Those are
the
pretty.
only difference between them was one was painted inside the blank with hot pink. The other one was painted baby blue.
The barrel on the inside was painted pink and blue?
Yes, yes. The inside of the barrel after it was drilled, but before the tube was glued in.
Cool.
And I just use a spray can, rattle can of spray paint from the local hardware store.
What glue did you use? CA glue?
I almost always use CA glue. If the blank is very delicate, I will sometimes use Gorilla Glue, foaming Gorilla Glue.
Mm-hmm.
Is that word supposed to be pearlescent?
I think so. Did I misspell it? Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess I
there's an
did.
L missing. Sorry. Thanks, Randy.
I depend upon spelling correctors.
Yeah, all this work and you got hit for spelling. Okay.
Right. Very good. Thank you, Randy.
That was
Beautiful.
it.
All right, let's go to Joaquin here. Joaquin with the J.
Howdy, howdy.
There.
Oh, with a J?
Juatai.
With a J, yes.
The
With
other
two
one.
J's.
Where you at? There you are.
I'm right here.
I got you.
So speaking of that Mark Soleil guy, a week ago Sunday, he called me at 7 in the morning and said, I'm in Kannapolis, see you in an hour. And he delivered this beautiful old Rockwell Delta that was given to me by Jeanette Bean, who is retired. And it's got a variable frequency drive. So it's variable, it's reversible. I've got a magnetic emergency stop switch. But more importantly, even with the blade, with the extension on that one, I've only got 20 inches between centers. I've got 4 feet now, so I can turn canes. And in exchange, she wants a shoehorn. I don't even know if Penn State sells these anymore. So I found a really nice piece of Chocolate Viga, and I will be turning that for her this week. I've been working on custom orders, and I have a family who's ordered 8 bowls and 8 plates. So this is my template, hard maple, and this has no finish on it. And here's the first 3 of 8. And I'm doing pretty good on mirroring the template. I'm finishing these. These are going to be daily use bowls. So I'm finishing these with 2 coats of pure tung oil. And then I will put Brad's, well, and they've got 1. I'm going to sand them back again with 320 and use my laser to sign them. So I'm waiting until I get the whole group turned. And then I'll put a second coat on, and then I'll put Brad's Workbench Tung Honey on them to do the final finish. And then I'm going to put them on a shelf covered in, blocked off from the air in the shop here with plastic so that they can cure for a month. What else have I been turning? I've got this little, I'm not done. I have this little keepsake urn with a ebony finial. And
Very-
it's really funny. So you can see there's some sapwood. And
Yeah.
see the bend? That's where there's sapwood up there. And as soon as I got it thin, it went kink and bent over. So I'm gonna have to steam it and straighten it out. But there's the finial. I've got to come up with a lid, finish sanding the body, and put finish on it. But that's on the side because I got this big order that I'm working on. So that's all I've got at the moment. I have other stuff, but it's all packed in boxes for craft shows.
Hey, Joaquin,
Yes.
before you go, can you show that new lathe you got? Because I had somebody just give me one of those, and I'm missing the motor, so I was curious how they did the variable speed.
Well, so I don't know when this was done, but you can see there's a 2x4 or the piece of plywood mounted, and this is here. I'll show you that. Let's see if I can get around to the back here. I haven't cleaned. I clean in the morning to get me in the right mindset to turn. So there's the motor or the variable speed. I don't know if you can take a screenshot of that.
Yep, I will.
Tico Electric and Machinery Company Limited. And this probably was done within the last 10 or 15 years. It looks fairly new.
Yeah.
But then we have this is the now the new power switch and reverse switch. And if you don't turn them on in the right order, it turns the wrong way. So you have to figure out which way to turn it on. It's not plugged in right now. But then it's still the original Rockwell Delta motor. So they just put a variable frequency power to that old Rockwell motor. I haven't played with bands yet because I really don't need to. This thing, you turn it on and you turn it up, and well, I'll tell you, it's like a scalded dog. It runs fast. So I'm still figuring out speeds and balance. It was 5.5 inches too short, so I had to build a little stand so that I could get it up to elbow height.
There you go.
That's just a deck brace, 4x6, well, 5.5 by 3.5. And I built a box on that end for a little more stability. But when we get out here, it's so light out here on this end, I'm probably going to store logs on that end or something just to give it a little bit more weight and a little more stability. And it just needed a little love and care and some wax on the bedways and clean up. Oh, and let me show you something. This is just something cool if you're an old tool nerd like me. Hang on, I gotta sit you down. This is heavy. No, it's the banjo's hand lapped. I can't get to it. But the bottom of the banjo might come from an older lathe, but it's actually hand lapped. It's not machine lapped. It's really neat.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
How about
it's very cool.
Are the bedways still machined or were they hand lapped?
This is machined, which is what makes me think maybe the banjo's from an older tool, because look at the handles. The handle style's different too. So it's got this lock, but the tailstock has this lock. So I'm thinking this came off a much older tool. And even rather than a direct fitting for the tool rests, you've got these little slots, and then you just tighten this down on it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this came from an older tool, but it's regardless, really fantastic gift from Mrs. Bean, and I'm looking forward to turning things like walking sticks.
Well, that's wonderful. Very nice.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
I got two comments for you, Joaquin. So one, is your garage floor not sloped towards the door?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
It's
my
kinda
garage
like
is level.
No, it's kind of like a joke, because then water runs in underneath your door. But I was going to say, then you need to shim up your tailstock side of your lathe. But, just making a little joke there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
The chocolate birdie. I don't know if you've ever turned it before, but
Uh-huh.
that stuff turns wonderfully. It turns very much like Coca-Cola. I get a lot of it out here, being close to Mexico and whatnot.
Yeah. I picked it up and felt the density, and it feels a lot like Cadillacs, which turns like a dream. But
So-
as far as drainage for the shop, I had to put in a French drain.
Oh, okay, got it.
I actually had to dig a trench.
Well, you've been in the Carolinas there, so I was.
Oh
I
yeah.
just having
Well,
a
and the
little-
shop's
just
at the
having a
bottom
little
of the
fun with
slope,
you.
so.
Yeah, I was just having a little fun with you. That's all.
So you're in the Carolinas?
I'm in Thomasville, North Carolina.
All right, I'll keep that as a note.
Yeah,
You'll never know.
You said the lathe had its original motor. It's 3-phase, right?
No, it's well, if it is, they did something when they put this in because this is running off 120.
Well, no, the inverter can take the regular single phase, but your motor that it drives is a 3-phase motor.
Most likely. I can't get to there's a label on the back side of it. I'll have to get in there with a flashlight and take some photos, and I can post them in the Facebook group.
But for anybody that's setting up with the torque converters and everything, you've got to start with the 3-phase motor, and that's what you're driving with the torque converter.
Okay. Well, then it must be.
Then
like I
if
said,
it's
you
the
can't really
original,
see
if
it.
it's the original motor, that means the original lathe was 3-phase.
Right.
Or they put a different motor on there that looks like the original.
Well, that looks mighty much like an original. I'll get in there with it and take a photo, and I'll post it in the group for you.
Okay, but the motors that are driven by the torque converters are 3-phase. You can put single phase input into them. You can put 3-phase input into them, depending on the torque converter.
Okay, cool. I'm not an electronics or electricity person at all. I just know it works.
Well, good for you.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, thanks, Joaquin. Thanks for sharing.
Yep.
All right, let's go to this chip guy. Chips. Hey, Chips.
Chips?
Yeah,
We got you.
got chips, Hampton. I was eating potato chips earlier. So, hey, look, there's my friend Bernie behind me. Y'all recognize old Bernie, right?
Oh yeah, we recognize Bernie.
Oh, I was watching.
Can't stop laughing.
For some reason, he always dresses like it's cold in here. I do not know why. It's 91 degrees here, and he's dressed like that. Crazy guy. Anyway, while watching Paul's demo last week, and he showed those books, during the demo, I went on Amazon and I bought one. Oop, where'd it go?
So did I.
And this is a wonderful book. It costed me $40-something to order it.
45.
Yep. And it's got the history, and it discusses how ancient Rome came up with these designs, and they hold the test of time, believe it or not. It's crazy how many pretty nice designs are in this book. Well worth the money, I thought. So you're gonna see me making some projects with these designs coming soon. So just
that, and it's hardcover. It's not soft cover. It's made to
oh yeah, it's hardcover, and it's it's a very elegant and well done book. Really, really nice. And the drawings are just, you guys can't see it, but just the lines that they use. It's not. There you go. It's just perfect. There's no bad lines in it. It is really well done. They did the graphics in it really well. So I just wanted to share that. I saw Paul signed out a little while ago. I was hoping I would have got in before he left, but yeah, I'm going to be using this book quite a lot.
Sounds good. Thanks, sir, Scott.
Yep.
I might be asking you for photocopies of it.
Cheater.
Yeah. Let's not endorse copyright infringements.
Right. Oh, no, that's not copyright infringement.
No, not that.
Yeah. All right.
All
right, let's,
$1 a copy.
Okay, that sounds fair.
Hey, right.
Sue's gonna do it for 99 cents. She's gonna undercut
That's
you.
right. Such a deal I give you, such a deal.
Right. Yeah, here we go. We do it like resin blank makers. All right, let's go to Gary in Oklahoma.
Hey, Gary.
Okay, I've got a question that I would like to ask. I'm about ready to start turning my lathe back on after moving from another location. And I had held all of my tools in things that I had turned on or made on the 3D printer to where the handles were above and they hung down. And I'm wondering what some of the other people have and use, like Scott. I was just noticing him, which he's got one that I think I've seen quite often too.
Whoa. Hey, Gary.
Yes.
Gary, give us a second. We have some audio on audio, and
I got
somebody's going to get it. All right, now go ahead, Gary. Thank you.
Okay. What I'd kind of like to get a consensus or some input on what different people think, to where, like Scott, I can see his little picture yet on the top of my screen, where he lays them into a rack. The handles are at the bottom, and they point. The tool cutter is up, to where I had them with the opposite, and they hung. What are some other people's comments? I did see from Dane, he has his where he's got holes in a board and they just slide in. What are some other ideas? Because I'm now at the point where I've got to start, what am I going to do with my tools so I can start turning the lathe back on?
Well, one of your first best things to go after this with is that a 1-inch PVC pipe makes a great tool holder. So, you can add them in any number of different configurations to hold tools with the metal part inside the pipe.
Now, I did that with my tools that where I can take the tool out of the handle. I had some of those, and they were also vertical for that. So any other ideas of how people are doing theirs?
Okay, well, I've got two. If you go to my picture, I got two different ones.
So let me.
Tools.
So folks, while I'm going to Scott, if anyone would like to share how they have their tools situated. Go run to your shop, and then after Scott, we can span through, however many people, here. We still got to get through 6 or 7 gallery items, but let's run through this quickly.
Okay, so
I can show mine after Scott.
Okay.
This is a rolling cart. It's like almost, it's like this slanted.
An
A-frame. It is.
Yeah.
So everything just rests there. It won't fall out. It's on wheels, so I can roll it around. And if you see on my back wall, that's a whole different way of storing your tools. If you have wall space, that's really good. Those have holes drilled in them, and I just slide the tools down in there, and it's solid on the bottom. I created the shallow holes, so the bottom of the tools just rest in it up there, so they don't like slide around or anything. They just rest right in those shallow holes in the bottom board there. And I find that I put that. I put my less used tools in the wall rack. I can still reach them, but those are the ones I don't really grab a lot or use a lot. And for this one, it's two-sided. One side I keep most of my bowl gouges and bowl making chisels on the top, and the back side's for my spindle work. And then the bottom level, I keep my scrapers and parting tools and things like that.
Nice ideas, yeah.
Yeah, and these little things right here, the little holders, those are just the hooks you put in your garage wall to hang like rakes and stuff. That's all those are. And I just screwed them into the plywood, different levels because of the different size tools I have.
All right, let's go to Matt and see what he's doing. Hey, Matt.
Hey, let me share this. This is my tool rack. This hangs from my light hanging structure that I built. That's just made from 2x4s, which you can see behind it. What this is, it hangs above my tailstock on my lathe. What this is a little rack that came out of a kitchen drawer to hold trays. And what I did is I cut it lengthwise. That you can see the little walnut dowel on the bottom I made. I cut it lengthwise and widened it so it would hold the tools because it was more narrow.
What again was that originally?
It was a rack in a pull-out kitchen drawer that held trays and stuff.
Okay, pull-out kitchen door rack.
Yeah. So it's just, and all I did was widen it. I cut it. I made 2 cuts in the crossbars and then added 12 inches in the middle there to make it wider. And it hangs, and I actually canted it. The bottom is canted is more forward than the top is to give it more of a slant, so the tools can kind of like, roll in the back when I put them in the little bits, in the little sections there. So that's another way to do it.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah.
And just for the benefit of everyone else, I'll go ahead and re-show my tool rack. Spotlight this bad boy around. So obviously there's the lathe. So I got my rack made. So it's 2 boards. I put them together and then drilled them out with 2-inch holes, Forstner bit holes. And I tried to make the rack to be the last rack I would need and use up all utilization of the space available where I wanted to put them. I wanted to have them at hand's reach while I'm at the lathe. And then on the bottom, I included a shelf for specialty stuff that's not going to go into a hole, like my threading tools and my Beal threader and some various other items. But yeah, that's a quick, easy. You can readily see what tool it is when you're looking at it. And of course, I've got everything organized based on whether it's bowl gouge, spindle gouges, skews, box scrapers, and specialty tools in the center on the far right. And of course, the holes are big enough to hold my various tool rests. So, and that's how I do mine.
Tim Hatch had one also to show.
All right,
Hey,
that's good.
I'm not in my shop and don't have access because I'm traveling right now, but I took an old shop-made wooden stool. I screwed on a piece of 3/4-inch plywood to that wooden stool and drilled some holes in it, and then my tools go down vertically in, and I've got probably about 15. I definitely don't have as many as Dane has. The only caveat I have with that, make sure that when you're moving your rack around, because I have multiple lathes in there, I move the tool rack to the lathe that I'm working on. But just make sure that you have some type of protection. Mike Peace did a thing on one of his YouTube videos on tool storage for when he's going out transporting, doing demos and things. He uses a 5-gallon bucket and he uses the 1-inch PVC pipe stuck in the 5-gallon bucket, and then he puts all his tools in. That way everything's, all the sharp points are protected. So just an option.
Very good. Very good. And then one other option that is frequently used. In fact, I think Mike Peace has even got a demo on it. He takes an old office chair, takes the chair off of it, and then makes a spindle, takes some construction grade material, plywood, drill your holes, and then another piece of construction grade, and shoves the handles down in vertically with the points being down. And then that allows you to push and move that tool rack around. So Doug Rowe has one like that. And I want to say, I'm pretty sure Brenda's got one as well, but Brenda's already ducked out. She had to go eat. Otherwise, we'll try to remember to bring this up next week when Brenda's back on, Gary, and then definitely when Doug Rowe is back on.
You know,
Hopefully it gives you some ideas.
We've got those shop stools too that you can kind of raise and lower. They're not that expensive. That may be a good base for something like that.
And I would look at the secondhand stores, Goodwill and Savers and whatnot for, those type of stools and old office chairs you can probably get, for a few, less than $10.
I got one I'd like to show. It's
Let's see, who's this?
Can you highlight me? I've got it on my phone here.
Oh, yeah. Bob.
Okay. What I did, let's see if I took a 2-drawer file cabinet and, well, how to do that? Okay. I took a 2-drawer file cabinet and made a frame around it with plywood and put tools on each side. Let me shrink it down here. So one side, what's it showing up? But one side, each side has tools on it, and then the back has sandpaper on it, and the front has the drawers from the file cabinet, and then 3 shelves that pull out. And I can store everything in that, and it's a space 15 inches wide by 2 feet deep and about 4 feet tall. And I can store almost all my tools in that. And it's got wheels so I can roll it out.
That's a great idea.
I wish I could show it, but it's on my phone and it's not picking up the picture very well or at all. But anyway, it works real well. And I use PVC pipe on the side and put a wire underneath it so the tools don't go all the way through if the handle's down.
Hey, Bob, could you send me that photo in a text message? And then I'll get it to Gary.
What's your email?
My email's too difficult to spell out.
Oh, well, put it in the chat now.
Here we go. That'll work.
Bob, you want to go ahead and show your gallery piece?
Sure. I've got, well, this is a box that I did. It's,
how did the birds get in it?
Okay. It's ambrosia maple and then walnut on the top. And ambrosia maple finial. And the finial is made out of the same piece of wood as this. I just had a square blank and just cut a corner off to make the finial off of, so it'd be matching wood. And this is box parts 5 inches, the finial's 4, and it's about 4 inches across. And it's finished with Minwax antique oil. And then I had a couple birdhouses.
What's the dark part in between the thing?
This is one my wife claimed. It's a deer antler and color wood.
Nice.
And then I saw a friend of mine's made some hummingbird houses, so I thought I'd try that. And he sells them through Our State magazine. And but they're sort of fun to make too.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Although a hummingbird won't live in one, but they call them hummingbird houses.
Yeah, exactly.
But they probably never go outside anyhow. So. But, and then this is one that I made out of deer antler.
Oh, very nice.
Red, white, and blue spectraply.
Wow.
Cool.
Very, very nice.
Looks nice.
Thank you.
Bob, I got a question.
Okay.
The shadowing that you have on your one bead box that you made, how'd you do that?
How to do what? The beads?
Well, the beads, I know how you did, but how did you get the black in between each bead?
Burned it.
It's just, that's just the shadow from the bead being
Oh.
cut in there.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like you burned it.
Yeah, that's
No.
why I was. It looks great. I like it.
Well, thank you.
Outstanding. Bob, good seeing you, buddy. Glad you're
Good
feeling
seeing
better.
you too. Good being back
Absolutely.
back in the saddle.
I know, right? Yep.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to see you tonight.
I'm glad you're here, Bob.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Good night, Tim. All right. Let's go to, let's see, Kelly Shaw. Kelly, you still here? Kelly.
Muted, Kelly.
I'm not muted anymore, right?
You're
Now we
good.
got you.
All right, we hear you now.
All right. Well, if you can't see this real good in the video I got, then I'll put a picture up. But I can't believe I got nonsense. That's crazy. Why are you following that guy?
We all say that.
It's kind of small, but the grain sort of flows all the way up to the top. And if you can see that little pine cone insect, I'll bring up a picture in a second where it's a little bit clearer. But the guy that sells at SWAT, that's kind of on the corner right before you go down the escalator on the left, he had sheets. I'll go grab some. He's got cutoff sheets.
I used the end of ring blanks for little
Oh, yeah.
medallions.
Well, they're from I guess the bigger blanks that he makes, he just sells the cutoffs.
Yeah.
And
Permanent.
it's all kinds of millions of colors and different types of materials. So I grabbed a handful of them. I mean, I think this whole stack probably cost me, I don't know, like $10, maybe $20. And out of each one, in fact, I had gone into Home Depot and I got an 1.5 inch hole saw because that was the only one that I didn't have in my set here in the shop. But before I left, I figured all I had to do is just run it through the bandsaw the same with it and then glue it onto the glue block that was left from this and turn it on there and then pop it off and stick it down in there. So each sheet I think would get you, I mean, like three lids, and they look really cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
They do.
Also, I had just done a big flat work project that I had felt that I had lined on the inside for a display. And I thought it would be cool and to make it, to line felt on the bottom, along the edge of the inside, because it makes it like a really nice soft close and kind of looks good too. Not to mention if you accidentally messed up your size somehow, you wouldn't have to shrink your box. But that's just a really nice tight. It's not super tight. It's just a real soft, kind of elegant close. And I used some of those shatter tools and put designs on the bottom too.
Very nice.
You can see them. And
What's
a
the
lot of
felt?
pens.
What type of felt did you use?
It was just a huge roll of felt that I got on Amazon for maybe 30. They sell, I mean, huge roll. It's like 20 bucks, 30
So you
bucks.
just got little strips then.
Yeah, I just cut little teeny tiny strips off of a giant roll. I've got tons left over off of a 5-foot table that I made. But I mean, because I only use like a very small amount of what I bought for 20 bucks. I'll have that forever, ever. But that's a cool little ring box, I think. I was actually kind of excited about how nice it looked. And then I made this cherry bowl. And if you look, I did that's the diagonal engraving with one of those little spindle texture tools. Just kind of held it.
Sorby spiral.
Yeah, Sorby spiral. Ran it back and forth until I got that cool diagonal look. And then
that looks good.
I put some straight down lines to kind of break it up on the top, which kind of looked cool. Painted it, of course, or I dyed it black, and then I used the Nick Agar like copper cream and just kind of ran it along the outside. And
That looks great.
then left the inside regular.
Beautiful.
Put a little design on the bottom. I did a really nice badge job on burning my name in there. So
It looks good, Kelly.
Looks good.
Looks real good.
And I probably made about 30 pens too, but pens are kind of boring. They sell good.
Next time, huh? All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. I really liked your ring box. I saw it online and thought it was pretty nice as well. Pictures really show the high resolution of that medallion with the.
Let me try to bring that up real quick. Hang on one second.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that picture really shows it off with the pine cone, the outer cone in it.
Can you see it?
Not
Not
yet.
yet. It's working. There we go.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Man, that is nice.
Yep.
That's pine cones and epoxy.
Yeah, outer cones. But yeah, it's the little miniature cones that are no bigger than 3/8 to a ½ inch in length.
You'll let Brenda know. I wish she'd be here right now to tell us what she sees there. I mean, this.
She'll have to watch it on the rerun.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Stephen. Hey,
But-
Stephen.
Let me add something here. If you're making a box for a ring, especially if it's going to have silver, look at Pacific cloth for a lining. It's what they line silver chest with. And it reduces silver from tarnishing.
Oh. It's
But
called what?
It's Pacific cloth is what they call it. Or some people call it silver cloth, but it's Pacific cloth. Look for that as a lining for
Okay.
anything that you may have silver in.
All right. Yeah, because
Silver chests are
I know a
lined
lot
with
of
it's the tan brown lining you see in the silver chest.
Okay. Right on. Thanks, Trey. All right, Stephen, we got you.
Hi, everybody. Got a couple of things here. I got this cherry bowl as a knitting bowl, yarn bowl.
Very nice.
Very nice. Cool.
That's nice. I like that.
That's beautiful.
Have some texturing on the bottom.
That's
Oh,
a
nice.
very nice accent.
Good.
Very good. Very good.
And this was just OB shine juice and Axe, the polish.
Very nice.
What kind of wood is it?
It's OB shine juice.
No, the wood.
Oh, cherry.
Cherry. Okay. Can I see the inside again? I missed it
That's
earlier.
right.
Oh yeah, that's very nice. You did a good job on that, Steve.
It had a knot here. I filled it in with coffee.
Glad you left that instead of cutting it out. That's good. Good accent. Leaving the fifth.
Yes, it is.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Did the bottom well too.
Real nice finish to it too. That OB shine
Yeah.
juice and the Axe. And I
Indeed,
get
indeed.
A little better with my consistency on the thickness too.
Right? Yeah, you can
That's
tell.
recent.
You can tell.
So I was
And
happy with it. And then I did a potpourri container.
Wow.
This is a from Penn State. You get these
Yeah.
inserts, the pewter inserts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's real cool.
See the inside. I think this is Grandula. I think it's Mexican rosewood.
Okay.
On the top, it looks very, very similar to walnut. And on the bottom,
Nice touch.
And I think
Interesting.
this is either spalted maple or it could be spalted
Birch?
Tree of Heaven.
Sumac?
Tree of Heaven.
Olive wood, maybe?
Sumac?
Olive wood?
No, it's called Tree of Heaven. It's
Ah.
it was originally from China, I think, and it was
Yeah,
brought over here to the United States, and it's an invasive species.
yeah.
It
It's a
grows
type
like
of
a weed.
sumac.
Then take it out there.
It's got pretty grain to it.
Yeah,
Very creamy white, but it darkens with age. When you
right,
first cut it, it's white like holly.
right. Yeah, brought it over as a windbreaker, and because it's a fast starter and establishes other
Yeah.
plant life, they didn't realize what an aggressive grower it is, and it snuffs out other
It
natural.
grows like bamboo, but it
Yeah.
grows 60 feet tall.
Yep.
Like a tree. That's my latest project.
Nice
That's it.
job. Nice
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you. All right, let's go to let's go to this guy. Okay.
Oh, hey everyone. Hope all's well.
Definitely.
So I got a couple of things to show, but I just got my Revolutions magazine in the mail. So it's safe to announce that I'll be one of the next international wood turning demonstrators at the next AWGB International Wood Turning Symposium in October 2024. So that'd be
Bet.
pretty cool. That'd be fun. The other
Congrats.
Thanks.
Congrats there, Kay. Well deserved.
Yeah, that's
Thanks.
great.
Thanks. So I'm going to be doing 4 different projects, but I'm doing 10 demonstrations in total. So one of my demonstrations is a water droplet box that I haven't really advertised or shown or taught yet. So that'll be new. And then I'm doing thin wall live edge bowls and my boxes with multi-access finials and the Lotus bowls I'm doing as well. So these are the other demonstrators. There's Rolly Munro from New Zealand, Jason Breach from the UK, Jen Hoban from Holland, David O'Neill from Ireland, Neil Joint from New Zealand, Yann Marot from France, Margaret Gerard from the UK, Simon Hope from the UK, Mick Hanbury from the UK, and Kate Bolger from Canada. So that'd be pretty cool. It'll be fun. So I can't wait for that.
Be sure you catch Jason Breach's demos. He's great. He's a friend of mine. And when he came through California some years ago, we kind of got a friendship going, and we email and stuff. And he's just a wonderful demonstrator. You can't miss him.
Is this a physical symposium or is it a virtual?
No, it's a physical symposium. It happens every 2 years in the UK, central UK.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've attended the last 2 years, this last year. And then the last time I was there was 2018. And this time I'll be a demonstrator. So that'd be cool.
Cool.
Congratulations, Kay.
Definitely.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So I knew for a little while, and it was just itching. I couldn't tell anybody until it was official and the magazine was printed. So now it's out there. So the next thing I have to show is a couple boxes I've been working on. I have a demo on the weekend. It's in the chat if anyone's interested. I'm going to be demonstrating brass or aluminum finials with an Asian-inspired box.
Nice.
This one has a finial on the inside, so this is a spinning top. This one is
Are you going to show how to make the box also, or just the finials?
Both. Yeah, I do both. The whole project all in the same demo. So it'll be all about the box, all about the finials, the type of metals, where to get them, which tools I use, and all that good stuff.
Because here in California, I got to get up at 7 a.m.
Well,
the demo.
Well,
So
Scott,
I'm going to sign up for this one. I'm going to sign up for this one because I want to see this one. So I'll be there.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Look forward to seeing you there.
Good night, Eddie.
Night, Eddie. Take care.
Good night, folks. Good night, folks. You don't, oh, wait a minute. Wait, I got to wait around for this.
Here's another one here. So both of these are tulip poplar that were ebonized. And then the finial on top is brass. And the finial on the inside of this one is, oh, no, wrong one. On this one is
there. Somebody stole it.
Aluminum,
it's
or in the
invisible.
UK, aluminium. So I did a couple practice runs today, so I made two. This one I did is juniper, but I dyed it yellow just to accentuate the grain and also to really make the purple pop. Yeah, I wonder what Brenda would see in that there. I see a couple different things. But so that
one. Yeah.
And then here's the top. And the finial is brass. And here's the inside here.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And that's a small branch of juniper, which is also known as Eastern red cedar. The other one I did was in ash. Here it is here. I also dyed it yellow. I guess I was on a yellow kick today, but I also find the yellow really accents the brass.
Yeah, looks good.
Are you using 360 brass?
Machinable brass. I'd have to double check my notes which exact brass I'm using, but I believe it's
probably 360 though.
Yeah, probably. There's so many different types, and I talk about them in the demo as well. But yeah,
nice job.
So that's the inside there.
Now, will you be doing a tung oil finish on those besides, or is that it?
Yes, I will be doing a tung oil finish, so they will be shiny, and you'll be able to see yourself in them.
Yeah.
Head down so she can see down your throat.
Yeah.
So that answers your question, Eric Casey.
I actually got to pick some up. I'm actually out, so.
Yeah.
And then I'm working on one.
You probably just make it like it's there because it's, sometimes it like it's still there. But the best thing to do is just dry it.
I was working on another one at the beginning of the day, and it's a much smaller one. It's out of Spectraply. So that's going to be the base. This is going to be the lid.
Oh my.
And then the finial is right here.
Don't drop it. It'll blend.
Beautiful.
And then some wig stands I did for the Cancer Support Center. I think I showed them last week. But
very
nice. Great stuff, Kate. Great stuff.
Going to be a great IRD.
Thanks. Thanks, Dane.
Indeed,
Yeah, it
indeed.
should be fun. It'll be fun. Can't wait.
Right. Scott, you need to sign up. Everybody else needs to sign up too. That'd be awesome. All right. Without further ado, let's go to our other Joaquin, Texas.
Oh, I'm signing up right now, Kate.
All right, Scott.
I'm already signed up. Ready to go.
Right.
Perfect. See you all there. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, okay. Look forward to it. I've been turning a few
neat
items for
update.
the gallery, doing some pins for Father's Day, bolt action pin. It's deer antler. It didn't turn out no color or anything. I see a washout. I'm getting a good, I don't know why I got such a washout here. Anyway.
Joaquin, you ever tried putting dye on antler?
I have not. I've always had enough color in it that I didn't have to worry about it, except for some elk. It's always white.
Yeah.
And then I like to do these for Father's Day. There's a keychain, 30 caliber bullet.
That's kind of neat.
Oh, that's
And,
cool.
it's concealed compartment, and so I like to put toothpicks in it.
Yeah.
They sell real good.
Great idea.
That's cool. Those are cool. I've never seen the keychains. I saw the pens, but that's handy.
Where do you get the
Two
kit?
different sizes. Get these from Craft Supply USA. They
Okay.
the Magnum, and you can put toothpicks in it. And they got a smaller one that you can't put the toothpicks in. And then they've got that other concealed one that they say you can roll up a dollar bill, $100 bill, and put in it. They don't, but you can't roll it up small enough without hitting the end. You can't get it in all the way.
Oh, no. False advertising.
Yeah, and so I tried my
Maybe.
hand at this embellishing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
That's
beauty.
beautiful.
I decided it's not for me.
Nice shape.
It's got 48 indexes, 21 rows, 1,008 little squares.
Lordy.
And I do not care for the paint. I love making them. I just don't want to do the painting.
Yeah.
You got to do 2 coats of paint on a thing.
Well, if you hate the thing, you can send it to me, Joaquin.
I'm going to keep it around to say I did one
Are you painting it with a pen or a brush?
with a brush, a real soft brush. And it's just staying between the lines. And, you know, you burn all this in so that it doesn't blend over into the other one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Joaquin, you learned in kindergarten, we learned how to stay inside the lines, didn't we?
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, for me, it was the 4th grade.
Yeah. And you know, you do these on the side, you do with a wood burner, build you a board and put your wood burner little block and just run it along the side and twist it.
Nice.
For years,
Cool.
about 3 years, I've been wanting to build me a hollowing tool. This is
Oh,
just
nice.
3/8 by, let's see.
Did you blacksmith it or cut the shape out of a solid stock?
Yeah, that's the blackness is the mill scale left on there, and I didn't want to grind it off or it'll start rusting on me. And I just put it in the drill press and I drilled cut the curve with a 2-inch hole saw, and then shape here where, you know, when you go around it, it doesn't hit the other rim. And you know, they sell these unbelievably for $90, $100. And I think this steel cost me about $5. That's the same cutter that the Easy Wood CI03, and also I've got the one that has the negative rake on it that'll fit on here. And I always wanted to build also Jimmy Clues' Mate 2, and he builds them out of 5/8 by 5/8 square stock. And I haven't got to try this one out. I'm looking forward to trying this one out to see how it cuts. You know, Jimmy, he just takes and goes there. You can't bog it down. You can't bog it down. But I'm looking forward to trying that out.
Can you show that edge just a little bit more, please?
This here?
Okay. What size is that little grinder?
That's an 8mm. That's a Jimmy Clues design 8mm cup, which Hunter has them also.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a Hunter number 2, I believe, for that
All right.
size.
Because I've got
The
some
number 1 is smaller than that.
Yes,
Okay.
number 1 is a 6mm. This is the number 2. It's an 8mm.
Okay.
And this is ordered straight from Jimmy.
So
Mhm.
how's it work?
I haven't
You
got
like
to yet. I'm looking forward. I may have to put more bevel on that bottom.
Okay.
For a smaller diameter. but I just ground it at that. I'm going to leave it at that till I try it out. But I don't know. I just always had the desire to build one for the last 3 years and finally got it built.
Check with Arizona Carbides for those carbides. They're a
Well, that's
whole
where I
lot-
get my carbides is from Ron Campbell.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're a whole lot cheaper than any
Oh,
of the
yeah.
other sources.
Yeah, that before I was buying them from AZ Carbide before Ron owned the company. Dale, I don't remember his last name, had the company before Ron.
Yeah, and you get the screws with them too, which cost as much as the carbides do.
Yeah, I probably got a box worth over $500, all the different carbides that I have in there. And I like all the traditional tools, but it's nice to have these carbides. Just, you know, you don't have to resharpen them or anything, just twist it a little bit, and they do a marvelous job on finish of them. Especially since they've come out with the negative rake ones.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're handy. They sell them for such a crazy price. It's so much more affordable just to make them. Go to your metal superstore and get your carbide cutters off Ron and.
Well,
Talk to your
Woodturning
uncle.
Tool Store, Todd Raines, he sells Jimmy's stuff. I looked at it today, $180 for this.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
Sale for $160.
Wow.
Just, you know, round in.
$180. Wow. Plus shipping and packaging and everything. That'd be a $300 tool for me. I can make it for less than 10.
Yeah. Well, let's see, I did spend more for this because I ordered it years ago before.
Right on.
I'm looking forward to you.
Joaquin, I'm sorry. I'm going to make you repeat. I missed the tool, the swan neck.
The what?
I missed your swan neck.
Oh, the swan neck. Yeah.
It was shot time for the kitty.
Yeah, this is just a 3/8 by
3/8
1
bar?
inch flat bar. And I cut it out with a 2-inch hole saw on the drill press and then ground the rest of it.
How long did that take?
Oh, probably an hour totally. But let me tell you so actually you want it to come out, you know, like this. And so the first one I did, I broke the tap off. This is a 440 screw. I broke the tap off, so I had to cut it off, and it don't come out there like I wanted it to with the edge. But it'll be okay. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's good. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
So Joaquin, if you want those not to rust, you go to the gun store and buy some cold glue and cold glue them.
You are right. Yeah.
Huh. That's a good idea.
But I didn't want to go to trouble to take the mill scale off, you know. It's
is the
work and
good patina. It's a good patina.
But I could try blowing it, see if it anyway, that's a good idea, Scott.
So Scott, the cold blue, is that like a paint or a spray paint that you paint on it, or?
It's actually a clear liquid, and you put it on with like a Q-tip or something soft, a soft cotton rag, and within seconds it'll turn it blue like a gun barrel.
It goes into the steel grain. It goes into the steel grain.
Right. It's actually a layer of rust is what it is, but it's a rust that stops at the surface.
Oh, cool.
Well, I re-blued a gun one time, Scott, a barrel, and I had to put it in the bathtub of water.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, after it turns blue, you have to rinse it off with water that stops the chemical reaction.
Okay.
Oh,
So if
40 years ago.
So the bottle will go a long ways. I mean, you can do a lot of tools with one bottle.
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm gonna pick up some too.
And it comes in different colors, so you can get like a matte finish, a shiny finish, or a brown finish, depending on where you buy it from and what they carry.
Okay. Like the browning bronze brown type finish they put on the barrel.
It's
Cool.
like it's like the old muzzleloader colors, the old muzzleloader barrel bronze.
Cool. Yeah.
Works great. Okay, so I need to make the announcement. So we've kind of overrun with the meeting by about 30 minutes. So this is the official end of the meeting, and the after hours are starting now. So this is so we have a demarcation point on for our YouTube upload.